Okay, we are live, and a truck is going by.
Just in time for the trash. Take out the trash. Hey, welcome to the shack, guys. I don't have an image prepared. I have this. I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to be working on this. And I'm going to be working on this. So there's your visual. Hi, welcome to Hack Shack Studios. RT Bear here. As always, I'm the master hack here. And I'm hanging out with Taylor here at the studio. Wait, we should wait for that truck.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
it's a beautiful day in Southern California, so we had the windows open slightly, and we're letting all the outside world in here. There, it's gone.
All right.
So hey, Taylor.
Hi, Art. Hi, everybody. Welcome. You want to see your view, Art? I got it queued up.
Let me
It
see.
looks pretty good.
Ooh, there I go.
We're figuring out this camera thing, you guys.
Is it? You know, I'm gonna tilt it a little bit because I sometimes I move it
I'm watching.
more
Oh, no,
towards me. Is that better? Let me see.
There we go.
Okay.
Just a slight delay. Looks pretty good.
All right, we'll do this. So I'm going to work on these. We're trying to bring together. Let me see which
I have
page. Which page?
Page
That page.
30.
Yes, we're trying to bring this page here together. So this is still kind of a rough of the layout. It's been slightly remastered, but you can see there's still some elements here, and this needs to be cleaned up. And some of this is just like holding. Some of this rendering and things like that, and then he's going to be outlined, and you can see there's part of him that was missing here from a word balloon, and some of the patches are these here, and I may rework this guy a little bit, so because he was all shadow, so I think I'm going to take the shadows out, and then this has to be replaced, or this has to be replaced with this. So there's still a little bit of work. So Taylor's going to be doing a lot of the digital stuff, and I'll be doing the practical stuff, the hands-on pen, ink, brush, pencil stuff. So I'm going to give this back to Taylor.
Cool.
There's your reference. There's your reference.
Sheldon Martin says, I always wondered how the greatest comic of all time was created.
Uh-oh. You want to tell him, Taylor?
If we don't know either, but, but if you guys know, we would love to hear it.
We just did it kind of for clickbait. so don't hate us.
Don't get mad. Mark C says, greatest comic ever. Are you subbing the art chores up to John Byrne?
Thank you. I knew we were setting ourselves up.
They're getting snarky.
To be slammed.
It was just clickbait. We're not that narcissistic. Although, Black and White is a great comic, and it's in demand on Indiegogo right now.
So in demand it from Indiegogo.
Hey,
Yes.
you got level 3, Kiss Army in the house.
Kiss Army in the house. Uh-huh. I'm a little tired, you guys, because I spent 5 hours on Mike Miller's channel last night.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to help him out with his Indiegogo, so.
That's a long time, Art.
Yeah, no rest for the wicked. So that happened last night.
Dang it! I fell for clickbait from a boomer, says Matt.
Ha ha,
Mutt
sucker.
Yeah, that was a long one for sure. Let's see.
Oh, Taylor has some articles and stuff too. That she'd like to read.
So we're gonna be working on this stuff, and I thought we would chime in on some. I don't want to say nerdy news. That sounds like kind of condescending. But some news that might be of interest. Hey, we got TC here. We got a good turnout, you guys. Thanks for coming hanging out with us. Don't forget to like this video, help boost our views. We're really close to monetization. So let's see. Should we get right into it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. So let's see what some of our news is. Well, number one, did you guys hear that Sebastian Stan says that Bucky might not be in the next Avengers movie? Because apparently he might not be in the next Avengers movie.
The weird thing is they have what's his name, Chris Evans, saying that he's not gonna reprise the role of Cap, like he wants to retire or whatever. But then who would? It seems like Bucky would be that guy to take his place.
And he was alive at the end anyway, right?
No. He was one of the first guys that met his demise.
Oh, Bucky was? I couldn't remember. Because he says, I'll read a quote from this article. He said, when I was shooting anything during, I guess, the last Infinity War movie, when I was shooting anything, nobody ever told me what was part 1 or part 2. The truth is, I don't even know if I'm in Avengers 4. What I shot was in part 1, and anything that I shot may or may not have been in part 1 or part 2. I still have no idea. There were things that we shot that were never going to make it in because it was easier just to convolute the whole thing.
What does that mean?
I don't know. So I guess they filmed it in tangent and just didn't tell him what parts were. But that seems impossible because if he...
There's no script?
Yeah, that seems kind of weird. So I guess he doesn't know. Let's see. Sebastian Stan alleges all the footage was filmed for Avengers Infinity War, so he doesn't know whether or not Bucky will pop back up during the Phase 3 ending. Since Bucky was the first Avenger to fade to dust, it would be surprising if the former Winter Soldier didn't return in some capacity.
That would be strange.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I still think there's some cool stuff they could do with that character. I really like him in that Wakanda setting. I think that's cool. And I like him with like the Panther. I think that's like it's a cool dynamic. That scene that they have together in that movie is pretty good.
I agree. I'd actually be interested in maybe seeing them elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, if Cap leaves, there's going to be, I don't know, who's going to kind of take that position. We speculated that it would be great to get, like Black Panther would be a natural fit for the leader of the Avengers.
Yeah. I think it'd be a... And I forget what video we talked about that in, but that's a good listen. Art has a whole theory about Black Panther's role in this next series of Marvel stuff, which I think might pan out. Mark C says, to keep secrets, a lot of times actors get sides instead of a script. Yeah, but I think it's weird that from what he's saying, it sounds like they were... Well, they can't... I don't know, because it almost sounded like he was implying they were shooting them. They're not shooting them at the same time, though. I don't know.
I think he implied that 1 and 2, his stuff was done in 1 and 2, so he's done as far as the next Avengers movie. Like maybe he wasn't called back for anything, so everything that he was in was already shot. Meaning there is no more.
Yeah, that's pretty...
So it doesn't sound like, I mean, based on that, I'm speculating because it's obviously pretty vague. But it sounds like there's no resolution to his story arc. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't come back.
So I wonder if that means then that the next Avengers movie isn't going to spend much time with those characters that got dusted. Like in general, whether they, we all know they're going to come back, but I wonder if they're not going to spend much time with the resurrected characters.
Oh, I don't think they're going to come back in the movie, to be honest. I think if they do come back, they're going to come back at the very end of the movie.
You don't think in the... Really?
Yeah, because the thing is, why would you pare down the Avengers just to bring... I mean, they're going to bring them back, obviously, but to bring them back... Because I think this is just what I, as a creative person, am thinking. Like, what they did, if you look at the dynamics and the group that they left you with at the end of the movie, it's the core Avengers group from Avengers 1. So all the external... The new characters that came in, they're not in that. They didn't make the cut. So the thing is, I think what they're going to do is they're going to at least try to reconnect that core group first, and let them try to figure out what's going on and how the best way to move forward is, and then those other characters are going to come back into play. Because I just think it's too many characters to deal with.
It's a lot, for sure.
And I think they need to get that Avengers group back, because one of the things going into this Avengers movie, they're not a team. They're not a group. They broke up. So they still haven't resolved that in Thanos War, in the, what is it called?
Infinity War?
Infinity War.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
they haven't resolved that they're a team, and Cap and Iron Man, the two main characters, aren't seeing eye to eye still. I mean, they're just kind of, doing what they had to do because the pace was moving so quickly. There was nothing else to do. You know what I mean? They didn't have time to think about stuff and plan or any of that. So I think this movie, the newest one that they're doing right now, is going to have to be those two kind of resolving issues and mending the team.
Yeah, because they didn't do, you're right, they didn't do any of that yet, which is a good point. Does anybody in the chat know when, do they have a set release for the next movie? Do you know, Art?
I think they do. Is it coming out this coming summer?
Oh my gosh, that'd be...
Or is the big release
Captain
in
Marvel?
2018 Captain Marvel? Yeah, I don't know, actually.
I don't either. Let me see. Disney already, according to Marksy, Disney already announced a Bucky/Falcon show for the Disney streaming service.
I would like that. Those two characters are awesome. Do you remember, what was it in Civil War where they paired them off and Spider-Man kicked their butts?
I don't remember. It's
In
fun.
Civil War where they were in the airport.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And they're both tied together. And they're just laying on their back and they're like, what the heck? And then they also do that joke where because they're both kind of in competition for
Cap's friendship.
So they're in the back of that VW when Cap's with the girl with what's her name, Agent. Oh, I forget her name now. Taylor doesn't think she's worth. What do you say? She's not good enough for Steve Rogers.
I'm sorry, like that girl seems nice and everything, but she is not like worthy of a Steve Rogers level person.
Yeah.
He's too good for her.
He's too good for her.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
But anyway, when they're in the back and one of them's in the back seat, he goes like, "Can you move your seat up?" And he's like, "No." And then they both look at Steve when he's kissing, or that she's kissing him or whatever.
I remember
and they're
that.
just like, "Aw, look at him over there."
I would like to see those two.
They have all three of those characters have a great dynamic. I want to
They
see
really
more.
do.
I don't want to see. We talked about this because we read an article about Chris Evans leaving. I don't want that to happen because I still think there's a lot of stuff that they can do with that character.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential left there, but like you said, it's
With the Captain America character.
yeah, with the Captain America character. But like you said, I think that this next one, because they kept Tony and him separate the entire movie, this past movie, right?
Yeah, and Tony never makes the call to bring Iron Man back. It's Thor, or not Thor, but Hulk does.
Interesting.
Bruce does.
Muttman says, Art, do you have any Stan Lee stories you could share? Did you ever meet him?
I did, but it was a group setting, and so it was mostly like Image guys, and Stan just kind of telling stories, and kind of passing the baton to the Image guys.
Aw.
Yeah, because I think it was Image. It was either, gosh, I think maybe it was Jack Kirby. Now I'm mistaken the two, but they did like Image for a while. They did. You know how like it had to be Jack. Now I think about it, because you know how like the Marvel books say Stan Lee presents.
Yeah.
I think there was like in some of the Image books, and if anybody in the chat remembers, it said Jack Kirby presents.
Really?
Yeah, so I think I am mistaking it.
Well,
But
you're
yeah,
the
they
Jack Kirby piece, right?
yeah, that was after he died though.
Oh.
Yeah. There was a tribute Kirby book, and I did actually. Now that we were talking about the Falcon, I did the Falcon in that. I got to ink Jack Kirby's pencils.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a great honor. It's a good piece too. I think we have it up. Where can they find that if they want to see it?
It might be in my Deviant art. It might be on my Instagram as well. But that was pretty cool.
J Pot says, and I think he's talking about in regard to the next Avengers movie. I get the feeling the characters that got dusted, I get the feeling they are not coming back, and if they did, they would always be tainted as losers.
Loser? Yeah, but they didn't kill
their
themselves.
fault.
Like,
that's funny. I mean, there's some good characters that disappeared in that.
you know, I know you didn't see Ant-Man and Wasp, and I'm gonna say there's a spoiler here.
Spoiler alert.
So if you guys haven't seen the movie, then put this on mute. Mute this. The way they get rid of Ant-Man in that movie and the Ant-Man supporting characters is really, really good.
So he is really gone at the end?
Yeah, but it's pretty cool because the rest of the cast, like Wasp and Hank Pym and Hank Pym's wife and all that, they all fall victim to Thanos. But Ant-Man is in this. I don't like this. What do they call it? The quantum realm. The quantum is time, right? Like this.
Quantum's time, yeah.
Or power, time, power, whatever it is. But it's not like the macroverse. So I think it's weird. Like, wouldn't he be in like the macroverse or something like that? Yeah, why is it
time?
Yeah, why is it that? It's just weird. So, anyways, at the end of the movie, he's, like I said, spoiler alert, he's in that place. So he's trapped in the quantum realm.
Which
So he's not dead like they are, but he's trapped in the quantum realm.
Which Ant-Man, the original or the story proper?
Yeah, Hank Pym disappears, so it's what is his name? I forget his name.
I always forget his name too. Cause Mommy in the chat says, I think Ant-Man is going to bring them back.
Yeah, there's going to be something because the way they're setting it up is this kind of the saviors, or like at least one of the what do they call those? The underdog in this story is kind of is it Ms. Marvel, or what are they calling her? Just Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. And the Ant-Man character.
Yeah. And Rhaegar said that Captain Marvel comes out in May 2019.
So maybe that's the big
Marvel
Marvel movie?
Sorry.
2018.
Captain Marvel is March 2019, and the new Avengers movie is May 2019.
Okay, so they are both coming out this year then.
Yeah. Well, we're close to...
I mean, not this year, but
Yeah.
29, yeah.
Muttman says, wait, you got to ink over actual Kirby graphite?
It wasn't Kirby graphite, no. They were Xeroxes. Yeah, I think those pencils were long gone though by then.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a tribute and a way to get Ra's money. This was after he died.
Oh.
After Jack died, so they did this book where they got a bunch of different people in the industry to ink up pencils. And I think Tomorrow's Magazine did, they revisited that book maybe last year. And so they said one of the they did a couple standouts in the book. And mine was one of them. So that was really cool.
It's a really good piece. You guys should check it out on the, I believe your DeviantArt art is just your name. I think most of your username is just ArtTBear.
Yeah.
If you guys want to take a look at that.
But yeah, it was quite a privilege. I think Jerry Ordway, I think he did Iron Man. That was really cool. I can't remember who the other ones that they kind of singled out.
Let's see. Rhaegar says, well, we all know Spider-Man is coming back because they're filming it right now.
They're all gonna come back. Yeah, I mean,
and Black Panther because they announced the sequel. Yeah, I don't think there's any. Well, that's not true. Drax might not come back.
Yeah. That guy put his foot in his mouth.
Sorry, but Drax was the only one that didn't survive.
He couldn't take it. What does it say? He takes everything literal, and he did.
He
the
did.
actor did take everything literal.
Yes, he did. Sorry, Batista.
He saw things clearly in a black and white way.
Now he's looking for
employment.
Yeah. Rhaegar said, Art, it's a legal issue. They can't use microverse because someone else owns the right to that term.
Ah.
I guess that makes... Yeah, but...
I hope it's DC with the Atom.
But here's the thing. They can't use microverse because of legal, but then why do they pick, like... I almost said chronoverse. Why did they pick quantum? Because that's still kind of weird.
Yeah, I just don't... It doesn't sound like it's like a small universe, like a pocket universe or a small universe.
A mini-verse, if you will.
A macroverse. Well, that's an interesting point, though. Thanks for bringing that up.
Mommy says, Ant-Man has more power than people give him credit for because he would be able to alter the fabric of time itself because of how he can manipulate size, etc.
Yeah, I've always said it, but I usually talk about it, how it relates to the Atom versus Ant-Man. But I think that Marvel significantly changed Ant-Man, because the original Ant-Man that I remember when I was a kid, he could only shrink to the size of an atom. He couldn't go into a macroverse. He couldn't do that. That was the Atom. So the Ant-Man thing was that he could shrink to the size of an ant and hang out with ants. Like, that's why his name was Ant-Man.
Hence, Ant-Man.
And the Atom was the Atom because he could shrink to the size of an atom. So that was always the difference between the two characters. But I think Marvel, being Marvel, and also wanted to make Hank Pym a more powerful, or not Hank Pym, what is his name? Scott something. Yeah. To make him a more powerful character, they made him able to shrink, like molecule size, like really, really tiny, like the Atom. So
a lot more substantial.
Yeah, so it makes him more powerful, and also just poo-poos DC. And then DC used the Atom in that Time Masters story, and he doesn't really do anything. And like he has like this power suit, and he's always just fighting as a full-size guy.
There's one thing, and I think we talked about it before, that I always hate, and it's in like every behind-the-scenes thing. And DC does it whenever they talk about the Atom. They're like, well, I guess they do it when they talk about Ant-Man too. Like comic-wise, people are always like, oh, he has an inferiority complex because he can turn small. And it's like, why would he have an inferiority complex? He has an amazing power. Wouldn't you have a superiority complex, if anything?
Yeah, why wouldn't Ray Palmer be like to me, Ray Palmer and DC, I love DC, don't get me wrong, but I think DC almost is like too humble with their characters. Like they just don't take him far enough. But I think Ray Palmer's probably the smartest guy in the Marvel universe. Like as far as like tech, like he's their Reed Richards, Hank Pym.
Yes.
And they never really seem to use him that way. And also, I always thought too that the Flash, like, they always say, ooh, he's rash, and then he's also like kind of played down. Like, oh, he's kind of got it, like sometimes in the animated stuff, like he's got an inferiority complex, or even in the new Justice League movie. And I always thought, like, no, I mean, the Flash is a pretty amazing character. Like, how do you beat that guy? Like, he can outrun a bullet. How, like, and then also, like, they do this in the comics and even the movies, like, sometimes people will punch him or they'll get like how would you do how would you even touch the guy? Like, because the thing is, they always play it this way, like, oh well, he can just run fast. No, all of his other senses are heightened. So if somebody was sneaking up on him or somebody was around him, he would probably know. He would have spider sense.
Yes.
He would know like a lot of things before anybody in the Justice League knew. Like he would just be in tune with everything. But they never play that part up. So they make it where he still can get hit. Like people sneak up on him.
Like that would never happen.
People can punch him. Like, well, how do you punch the fastest man alive? How do you even touch him?
He's just watching it slowly come at his
head. Yeah, like even even if it was the last possible second, like it's coming at his face, right? Last possible second, he can still move out of the way. He doesn't need to see the whole telegraphed punch,
well,
right?
Because wouldn't he feel the first touch of it?
Yeah, as soon as he just had a sense of it, he's so fast he could just move out of the way. And I know that they don't want to make him too powerful and all those other things, but it's also like, well, you can't write the character down. Like, that's the one thing that writers do. They make the characters like, oh, we're going to diminish their powers, so they can seem more human or whatever. I don't say ever make the character's powers less. I say make the villain's powers more.
Ooh.
Never diminish the hero. Just make the villain worse, like more powerful. You know what I mean? That's what people want to see. Like, I don't want to see the Flash like not be as cool as the Flash can be in a scene. I want to see him be as cool as he can be and have the villain bring that coolness out in him. You know what I mean? Like have him have to raise the bar to overcome that villain. And I always thought, your heroes are only as good as your villains, so you always make your villains worse or more powerful. You know what I mean by worse,
yeah.
right?
A threat.
Yeah, more powerful than the hero. And then you're always like, well, how's the hero going to overcome this? I always thought that's how you did it. I don't know. I don't think, now they just diminish like, oh, well, how do we make these other characters look cool? We diminish their powers.
Quote 2019 R.T. Bear, make villains better.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really good. I think it's true. Instead of just making every villain kind of a joke.
Yeah. Or they make Superman, like, oh, we got to get Superman out of the mix so, Vixen can look cool. Or Vibe or whoever the...
Vibe.
Gypsy. I'm trying to think of some of the bad, Justice League characters. Vibe.
Gil says, Art, in your extreme days, did you ever ink over Rob?
Oh, of course. I inked over Rob on, New Mutants and, I think X-Force, too. I was supposed to ink X-Force.
Ooh.
Somebody told me, maybe it was Jim Lee or somebody, was like, as soon as Rob got the numbers on X-Force, he decided to ink it himself. I got aced out of that. I don't blame him, though.
But why? That's funny. Oh, gosh.
Could you imagine? Those numbers were insane, you guys.
I'm trying to think. Rob did something when I started working here that you inked. I think it was Deathstroke.
Yeah, did you work on those pages?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob.
But weren't they weren't finished. They were layouts or something.
Dude,
so you did more than ink them.
I'm going to just show you guys. This is hilarious. Okay. This is the size, I'm not even kidding, of the pencils I got from Rob. Excuse me. They were...
Oh, man, do we have them?
We might. Oh, I wonder if we saved them. He did the layouts. They were layouts. They weren't, finished pencils. Yeah. But they just told me they were going to be finished. They were just like, oh, you want to ink Rob?
Yeah. I remember we scaled them up in Photoshop.
Yeah, we had to do that. So they were just, something like that, Rob layouts. And so... Yeah, we blew this up to 11 by 17 page size. But of course, by the time you do that, they're kind of inadequate. They don't really, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Because what looks cool or looks finished that size doesn't look good blown up. And so I talked to DC and I told them, and so they gave me more money to do the. They were kind of more like finishes, like Rob's breakdowns, and so
'Cause he was writing the book too at the time, right?
yeah, and so I brought those pages. I think there were like 3 or 6 pages or something like that together, and it was a lot of fun because I hadn't inked him in probably 20 some odd years, so it was a good experience. It was fun. Rob's got a lot of it's a lot of kinetic energy to it. There's a lot of power, so it kind of frees you up as an inker to be less kind of precious, I guess, and a little bit more aggressive with the approach.
How much of his stuff over the years would you say you probably inked?
I even inked unofficially some of his Hawk and Dove.
Ooh.
Yeah. And just for the record, that book was originally offered to me. Barbara Randall / Kiesel, who was the editor on it and also co-writer.
Why didn't you accept, if I may ask?
I was working on Time Masters,
Ooh.
and I was behind schedule on that, and so I wanted to do it, but I told Barbara, I said because I knew Rob and I were friends, kind of breaking into the business, and so we hung out at my old apartment 3, Huntington Beach apartment, and I mentioned Rob, and so they tried him out, and the rest was history.
Was that some of his first? That was like some of his first work, right?
That was his first work. That was his first big work. Like he had done, he did some Warlord, like a Warlord bonus book, I think, before that. But that was his big breakthrough. His first big official series.
You were inexplicably forever tied because of that.
Yeah, and because like I said, we used to work out of the apartment 3, and he would pencil there, and then I would work on Time Masters, and I remember him just asking me, like, I want to see what your inks would look like over one of these pages. And so I just did it. I think Rob might have got in trouble.
Really?
Because Carl was supposed to ink it.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was kind of short term. But I think Rob liked what I was doing at the time, ink-wise.
The chat wants to know, since you have some major perspective now, did you prefer working for DC or Marvel on the whole?
Marvel in the early days when I first started working there, they were awesome. Before, let's just do it this way. Before Image, Marvel was awesome. After Image, and I went back to Marvel, when Bob Harris was still there, and when Joe Quesada first came into power, it was pretty good. It went downhill pretty fast after that, though, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it was not a fun place to work after that. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned.
So overall, which one did you prefer? I guess different times, different.
Yeah, look what I did. That marker just smudged right there.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia. My. Jeez. I would say, gosh, that's a tough one.
Muttman asking the tough questions in the chat.
Yeah. It also depends on who you're working with, like editorially or the artist. So I would probably say, gosh, my most recent DC is probably the best. Like I would say they're probably opposite. Okay, so pre-Image, Marvel. I liked Marvel, and after Image, DC. I liked the Dan DiDio years. I know Dan gets a lot of heat, and to be honest, I don't know who's really calling the shots too much anymore over there. But when Dan first took over at DC, that was a great place to work. He was very generous and he was very hands-on, and he always made time for me whenever I had a question or whatever. And yeah, he was pretty amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that does make a big difference.
Yeah, he genuinely felt like he cared about the books, he cared about the people that worked there. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Rhaegar says, talking about the Flash, he's like a really fast Wolverine with no claws. And Geek Owl says, how do you punch Usain Bolt? Rhaegar says, I liked Steppenwolf. I'm not ashamed. I'm glad he survived at the end.
Oh, in the movie?
Did he survive at the end?
I think he just like he went back to whatever realm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they killed him. I think he just was like shamed and then had to go back as a loser again.
Mark C says, good lord, are you guys working in a subway? There's a bunch... Okay, I don't know what's going on right now, but there was like a garbage truck, and now there's a UPS truck driving.
Oh, yeah. We're just using the iPad microphone, so you're going to get all the sounds. So I apologize, guys. And also, we're trying to yell as loud as we can so you can hear us, because I know it's probably a little difficult to hear. But it's the only way Taylor and I can work in the same room together, because if we do the headphones and go through Hangouts, Google Hangout, we can't work in the same room because of feedback.
Yeah, so we're working on figuring out a different method, but for now, let's see. That's why... Mommy asked, okay, so how would you feel about an older senile hero written like a comedy where they are in a small town and everybody helps protect their identity?
So is it one senile character or multiple senile characters?
Let me read it again. And how would you feel about an older senile hero written like a comedy where they are in a small town, everybody helps protect their identity? Okay, I guess just one living in a small town. That sounds kind of sad.
Is that Elizabeth?
Yeah.
It sounds like it's like a create her own idea that she has. Elizabeth, you should keep that stuff to yourself. Somebody right now is writing that down. It's probably Nasser. Nasser just stole your idea.
I mean, she wrote it in this chat, so we could link it back.
Hell, we could take it. It's a good idea.
Well, not now.
Why not?
This is recorded.
Oh, that's right. She just copywrote it. Elizabeth, just type in TM.
Sheldon says, I'm not 100% on this, but I think in the New 52, Flash's powers come from another dimension. So he's fast when he wants to be. Not all the time, though. Ew.
Well, I think, didn't they make it where there was this...
Speed Force.
Speed Force, so they tie into a... And to be honest, I think it's better than, what was it? A science accident gone wrong. Like, wasn't he was like struck by lightning or something?
Yeah.
And some chemicals spilled on him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a step up from that idea.
I just remember, I know it's based on...
What doesn't kill you just makes you the Flash. I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's that animated movie that's really terrible. I forget, it's based off the Flashpoint comic stuff, but it's really funny, like in animated form, because you hear everything, where the Flash is like, we need to recreate the experiment, and then just Bruce Wayne's dad is like helping him, and he's just trying to recreate, and he's like screaming because electricity's just hitting him.
Yeah, because he's getting jacked up.
I'm like, if you don't get powers, you're probably not going to survive this.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure it'll work, and it's just him going, ah, the whole time. Let's see. Oh, the other M asks, Art T Bear, who's the inker you most admire and why?
Is it really bad if I just say myself?
That's a Gene Simmons move.
It's a Gene Simmons movie. Right? We've been boning up on Kiss.
Are we gonna do a show soon?
We should. Scott just sent me something. I gotta read it.
Because I am like rearing to go after listening to all this stuff.
Taylor's listening to the Paul Stanley audio book.
I've been listening to it every single night. I'm on like chapter 48. I can't stop.
Wait. What was the question?
All right, the inker you
Inker.
most admire and why?
You know what, guys? I'm gonna confess. I'm not an inker fan
What?
per se. I'm a penciler fan. I never really. I don't look at inkers too much. I kind of look at pencilers. I look at style. If I had to, my all-time favorite and probably the guy that impressed me the most was Dick Giordano early on, and he inked a bunch of people, but mostly Neil Adams in the day. So there's that. I liked some of the Terry Austin stuff early on. Carl Kiesel, actually, in a way I liked better than Terry Austin, actually. Gosh, contemporary. I don't know. Like I said, I mostly keep up with what pencilers are doing than inkers. I think I don't know if he's underrated or not. I like Bat's line for me. Matt Banning. I think he has like a great natural line that he just throws down, and I like that.
You know what Bat has that's really cool? His signature.
Yeah, it looks a lot like my old signature.
For some reason, like it kind of looks. The A and T look really familiar to me.
A little bit, yeah.
Let's see. Duraken says, just tweeted out the colored version of page 2 and 3 of that Comicsgate fan art. It has black and white in it.
Ooh.
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Oh, is that I put one up on Twitter, Taylor? Did you see it?
No, I actually don't have a Twitter.
It's a story, and there's a diner. If this is the one I'm thinking, and so there's black and white in there. They're having like lunch or something. I think Red Rooster's in there, and
Let me see.
And Cyber Frog.
I'm curious now.
There's like little cameos.
Let's see here. I'll look for that. But in the meantime, Rhaegar says, what villain most deserves their own solo film, both in DC and Marvel? I'd say Doom and Ra's al Ghul, or Mr. Sinister and Hugo Strange.
What do you say, Taylor?
Sinestro's one of my favorite comic characters of all time. And so I would pick Sinestro for sure. Because I think, I don't know, it's really weird. I know the Green Lantern movie was like a total failure, but if they had done it right, and we kind of talked about it, like Green Lantern seems like it'd be one of the easier sells as a movie. And I think they could do one from Sinestro's point of view because he kind of has an interesting, he has a really interesting hero's journey because he's kind of tragic from like hero to villain. I feel like they could have done it. He's more interesting than Hal Jordan to me in a lot of ways. But as far as like Marvel villains,
so it's a villain that gets a solo.
Yeah, a villain that gets a solo story.
Do the obvious. Joker.
That's another like Joker's like if you're picking like marketability, which they're doing that, but like Joker seems like a smart one to do because people really love him, but I don't know.
You'd have to do a character that's fairly complex that you wouldn't mind spending 2 hours to watch.
Yeah, and that's I don't know because it's weird. I like villains better than heroes most of the time, but a lot of the villains I like wouldn't make good solo movies. Like they work best as villains because like I really like Solomon Grundy, but I think a Solomon Grundy movie would be absolutely horrible.
Hmm.
Can you think of any that are like
Yeah, I'm
hmm
trying to think. Because I'm thinking, well, where my brain is going is, would I want to watch it for 2 hours?
yeah,
That's where I'm going.
that's a tough question.
2 hours. I don't know. I really like the Magneto character, but it's been picked over quite a bit already. So I don't know. I don't think I would want to see any more of that. Um, Trying to think of my favorite villain.
I like Scarlet Witch when she's a crazy person.
Yeah.
I could
This
watch
shouldn't.
that.
This feels like it shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah, because there's a lot. I don't know. A lot of the characters too that I always like. I don't know. There's a lot of characters I like that could kind of be either or, but a lot of the villains I like have their strength mostly as villains themselves.
And how would it relate just in, like, without, because I would imagine the question is that they wouldn't be able to tie them back to the hero,
Yes.
so it would have to be a story unto itself.
I actually think if you did it right and it has so much room to go wrong, but you could do a good Harley Quinn one if it wasn't like the New 52. If it was like the Mad Love animated, it would be compelling, I think, and cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say Harley as well, but the thing is, they already have it so defined with the actress and with the Suicide Squad and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just wouldn't even want to go there.
Does
That's
Cap-
why I don't go that with the Magneto.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the climate right now wouldn't. It'd be more against it than I gotta think about that one. Gil says art. When laying out your pages, do you go start to the page or the thumbnail? Small, then blow them up. Do you go start?
Small. Let me see. Are there layouts here? Oh,
Yeah, here's some. I think we can show those.
Yeah. So what I do is I create like a layout page. So these are pre-printed with the dimension of the page on them. So then I just kind of start doodling. Can you see these, Taylor?
Yeah.
Like this, obviously I didn't follow it up, but so just like thumbnail, and then if I like the thumbnail, I'll come in and darken it up. And the reason I do this is probably because I'm an inker and I just like black line versus pencil. So I come in and then I just kind of resolve it a little bit more with a marker. And so these are layouts. And then when I'm writing my own stuff, I got a billion notes and dialogue ideas and stuff. This is blown up from a small panel. And there's this one. So yeah, so it is a thumbnail, and then I'll blow that up. If I like it enough, I'll blow it up, or like I'll blow it up to this size, and then I'll resolve it further, and then I'll go from this size to 11 by 17 artboard and finish it up. I like working smaller, especially in layout form, because I can see it. I can see it quickly to see if it's working at an eye glance. If it's too big, my eye moves too much, and I can't bring it all together.
Ignition wants to know, did your credit ever get left off a book or given to someone else mistakenly?
Yes. It still happens to this day. My gosh. It's so heartbreaking.
That sucks.
This is a pet peeve of mine. Okay, so if you do it, let's just say it's your book, you're inking it, right?
Mm.
And let's just say the schedule gets out of control, meaning they might have to bring somebody else in to help out, and so they do 2 pages, let's just say, and so then you get the book, comes out, and then there's your credit here and the other inker's credit here, and they're exactly the same size. And then you're like, but I did the volume of it. Like, I did 95% of this book. That guy did 2 pages, and his credit is as big as mine. Like, I just think, I'm sorry, guys. This is where my ego. I'm just like, that's not fair. That is not fair at all. Especially if it's my book, like it's my series, and I'm the regular on it. Then I think, no. That's not how it should go down.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. It should say with or and. That's how they used to be. Where they would give them credit, but it would be like kind of a side credit. Like with. And I just think that's kind of how it should be, out of respect to the regular person on the book.
Definitely.
And then sometimes it's been dropped off of books, which is the ultimate insult. And then I've had, with Will's Portaccio on Uncanny, I was doing finishes over Will's, and I think there were 3 issues of Uncanny X-Men that I did not get finishing credits for. And I worked my butt off on that. So he was just providing me layouts. And people in the industry know that I did it, but a lot of fans and people that, were buying the book didn't know.
That sucks.
Yeah, so, and my fear was always, if you don't get credit, sometimes accounting, they look at the books for the credit. So I was always afraid that I wouldn't get my finishing money as well. So I remember that I just fought for the credit.
Well, that's totally valid then, regardless.
Yeah, so I could make sure I got my money. Yeah.
That would be pretty horrible.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work, or it was a lot of work.
Muttman, who's been lighting up the chat. Could you give a shout out to my comic on Indiegogo? Hero, Blood of Patriots. It's about an undead super soldier.
Wait. Don't get one plugged. Go to my PayPal. Go to my PayPal, my brother.
Oh, yeah, you can hit the donate button since
Yeah.
we don't have super chats.
All right, you're on the honor system. Throw me a couple smackers and Taylor will read your, and we'll give you a shout out.
Let me know when you want me to do it.
Go ahead.
All right. Shout out to Hero. Blood of Patriots.
Blood of Patriots.
It's about an undead super soldier in World War III. Let's see.
Wait a minute, that was it?
Yes, it's on Indiegogo.
It's on Indiegogo. Go. What's his name?
Muttman.
Muttman. Go get Muttman's book.
Durakin says the best villain ever is the Condiment King. I remember him.
Condiment King.
Sinestro would be interesting. I agree.
You know what? I have to say, I think they could make a movie about Sinestro, but they would have to be the Owens, the little Guardian dudes, right? They would have to be in the story.
I think it would have to be like a straight up Green Lantern story following him from when he's a Green Lantern.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to not tie him to the Green Lantern stuff, though. Because
I would have the movie start when he's a Green Lantern, introduce him as Green Lantern, and follow him, and then...
to the demise, to the Yellow Lantern.
Black Manta, says Pixel Trader.
Well, we'll see. He's going to be in that new Aquaman movie.
I don't know a lot about the current Black Manta, do you?
No, but I know that they got that darn costume to work.
Yes.
It was one of the best things of that trailer because he's got that enormous head. And so Taylor and I were talking, like, how the hell is Hollywood going to make that work? And so Taylor and I were talking, like, how the hell is Hollywood going to make that work? that head is ginormous, and they just built up the shoulders and the chest and everything to make the head work, and it does. To me, it works.
Someone else in the chat, I think other M, said Doctor Doom, and I think that would be kind of difficult because, well, I don't know. What do you think of that? I don't want to give my opinion yet.
I don't know. Doctor Doom is one of those characters that I don't know how he fits into a contemporary setting, because it could be interesting because there's a side of him where he's the ruler of Latveria or wherever the heck it is. So you have that part of the character.
That's the weirdest part.
Which, yeah, it's the weirdest part, but if you were to make a movie, because he's a tech magic, right? Like his powers are,
yeah,
like, it's like science.
It's really strange.
It's science with magic, but he's also like some kind of like medieval looking character that lives in a castle. So I don't know. I think it would be tough to bring together, but it could be interesting, and it could sustain outside of the Fantastic Four if you just have this, like, I don't know, megalomaniac. Like he's a villain to the outside world, but to his people, he's worshipped and he's a great man. I don't know how would you frame that up as a 2-hour movie?
That's why I think it'd be difficult.
But it could be interesting though, right?
I think it's an intrigue. He's an intriguing enough character, and he's very recognizable, and I think that part would appeal. The thing is, like, what's I'm kind of realizing now because of this question is a lot of the characters that are really likable and stuff that are like bad guys or that are interesting. They're either hard to pitch as a movie because of the current climate of Marvel movies where they wouldn't like fit in, or they've already done stuff that kind of tarnishes what you could do with them. Like, that's kind of my biggest issue, because there's characters like Mystique that would be cool, but the current cinematic Mystique is really horrible and not really even remotely close to the comic book Mystique. Like, the comic book Mystique is cool and very different, and you could have done something really cool with it, but now it's just like she's kind of a whatever character.
I think that's kind of why it does intrigue me, the Doctor Doom idea.
Yeah, because they haven't really
done. I mean, those Fantastic Four movies are just horrible,
Those don't count.
so I don't even think we should register them. But it could be interesting just because the setting is unique, and his power. His powers are unique.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting one. There was a Solomon Grundy focused episode of the Justice League or Superman that was good. That was sad.
Oh, the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Let's see, Dr. Doom. Group wise, the Hellfire Club, not the one in First Class, might make a good movie.
The one in First Class is kind of almost non-existent. It's not even.
They didn't do much, right?
Yeah.
Pixel Trader just brought up what would have been my dream movie: Harley and Ivy, a Thelma and Louise type story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be extremely marketable and work really well, but not in the current. They have to wait a while.
It's a little tarnished.
Yeah. Mark C says, "Do you Photoshop that piece into the page once it's done?"
Yeah. Did we bring up that one patch that we just put in? The gray face? Is it in the...
Oh, I have the penciled version of it. Where is that? Oh, you know what? I'll grab it. It's downstairs.
Yeah, I can show you kind of how it works. Yeah, this... Oh, yeah. This is this, but not done. So, let me see if I have... And then I can show you the other one too. Is this it? Yeah. I keep all the different drafts in here. So this is kind of like the holding spot for it. So then we do that, or I did that, and then I work it out on a sheet like this and do a patch, and then I bring the patch into the page here.
Here he is.
Here he is. Yeah, I did this yesterday. So this is this is the patch for this panel here. And I had it somewhere. Where is it now?
I have this one.
Is that, yeah, but that's not it though. It was the, oh, it's right here. Is this it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So this is the original 94 version here. And so this is a page we just finished up and sent out to the colorists today, actually. So this is a cool preview. And so this is the 94 version as it looked way back when. And so then this is the remastered. So there was a panel on the previous page. We brought that over to start this. It just fit better. And so then you can see back to back, you can see the difference in the remastering. Backgrounds, look what Taylor did in the backgrounds here. Really tight, nice.
But look at that beautiful gray face.
And then, oh, cool. Yeah, we'll get to that. We haven't got there yet. And
I'm
so,
eager.
so then, yeah, we thinned Gray out. He went on a diet, and we thinned him out and cleaned him up there. And then, of course, all the backgrounds. And then Whitney's got a little bit of remastering and some more shadows just for dramatics. And so then this panel here was the last one here, but we changed the dialogue a little bit, so it worked better here. So one of the things, well, I'll just explain it this way. So we took this panel out, and the beat is here now. I didn't like this shot. It's kind of bad, and so I redrew that. You saw the patch, and put it in here. So that took this place, and then there was this one that now is the last one. So we pull back. So we reveal him here, then we pull back. Then we cut back. What does he say? Like, she better be worth it.
She better be worth it.
Like
or
right
I hope
here.
She's worth
yeah,
it.
I hope she's worth it. And then we cut back to her, which is a blow up of this shot here, with a little bit of different remastering on it. So I was really happy with. I did this in the 5 hours that I was on with Mike. So I redid this panel right here.
I wish you guys see a close up of Whitney's hair also.
Oh, this one here.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, all these little curly
It's
cues and
amazing
stuff.
what you can do with 5 hours.
With 5 hours of Photoshop. And so, yeah, and then there's all these new shadows and stuff that I brought into here just to make it more dramatic around here as well. And so then Taylor cleaned all these backgrounds up real nice in through here. And just this was just for us, Taylor and I. But this drawing back here, this painting on the hallway wall here, that's Chronomechanics, which is the next book after Black and White we're going to do. And then this is Super Sons here. That's Robin and Superboy. But they're very cleaned up, so they don't have the S's or anything. So it's just, just their faces. And so then this is Doug from Chronomechanics, and this is Caravaggio from Chronomechanics in the frame. And this is Oot and Caravaggio over here as well. So we added a bunch of fun stuff. Yeah. So, and then these three panels here have been brought over into this page. So we take it from, he leaves here, and this is the same, but then we moved it here. So you can see we flopped the image, so he's moving from left to right because this is kind of the wrong direction. You should always have a character enter from left to right. It always looks better because we also read from left to right. Brings your eye this way. And so this was the old painting. And so I redid the painting here. So we're also, what Taylor's doing now is she's taking this painting image and putting it in here, along with all this crazy scroll work around the border here. And so the reason it says Chake in here is because when I did this, I was pretty close with Howard Chaykin. He had this pretty cool studio in LA, and I used to hang out there. And so this is an image from Blackhawks. So he was working on Blackhawks at the time. So I just kind of lifted it as like a little tribute,
Aw.
and then I credited him with his actual signature here. So I thought that was fun. And this is a pivotal character you'll find out in the story.
Yes.
So, and then, like I showed you, this is just my little thumbnail. It's like this big. So I put it in there for holding. This is still a holding position. And then you guys got to see me. Actually, it's pretty much done. I'm going to do a little Photoshop here. I'm going to bring his ear in and his jawline in there. But after that, it'll be totally finished. Get in there. And so this is a holding position too. It's just another panel from another page. So I redid this head, which I'll be inking in a couple minutes. And then he opens a secret compartment. It wouldn't be a spy story unless there was a secret,
Yes.
entryway to their hidden lair.
I still want one of those.
Yeah, I want a swinging wall. I actually want like also the painting with the eyes where you can like move the eyes and you can stare at people through the wall.
Yes.
Yeah. What are they doing? Yeah.
If we make 100,000 studio upgrade to spy lair.
Let's just spy on each other for some reason.
That's how we'll do this. Because I'm like, I can have a microphone in the other room, but I'll look through.
Yeah. She'll check in. Oh, that's what he's doing. Okay. So yeah, so that's a little bit of the remastering. So you guys can kind of figure out and see what we're up to. I just put my hand in ink. This is always scary, you guys, when this happens,
Ooh.
because then you look at everything and go, "Oh, what did I smudge on?"
We got a question from Micah, who's 8 years old.
Hey, Micah.
How did you get so good at drawing?
A lot of practice, years and years. But the main thing is just love what you do. So if you really like drawing, just draw and keep drawing.
And if you're 8, you can get really good.
Yeah, just draw all the time.
Let's see. To take that further, wait, what are you guys talking about? I gotta scroll up. You guys are lighting up this chat. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Light it up.
I wonder what would happen if you forced them to put your name, since legally any art you work on, you can force people to put credits on your stuff.
Yeah, good luck forcing Marvel to do something.
Especially when you're working freelance.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time that stuff doesn't happen just because if you start too much trouble, then you might not work the next month. So usually people are pretty humble that work in this industry, so they don't ruffle too many feathers.
Mm-hmm. My friend Roland Paris had that same issue as an inker. This is Mark C. Do you know Roland Paris art?
No.
Not familiar. Level 3. They do have a comic series for Sinestro, and Hal isn't in it. I read that. It was quite good. A Sinestro movie could work.
I just don't know how you do it without Green Lantern, though.
You gotta do it with at least the core.
Yeah, you'd have to mention the Green Lantern Corps.
I hope Manta is really menacing in the movie. And then Incredible Hulk says, I don't know, maybe put Doom opposite Iron Man and subtly introduce magic. Against Iron Man?
I always like that idea, though. There have been like Iron Man Doom stories in the past.
I guess I could see how those two would have an interesting kind of.
What do they call those? Like techno mages? What do they call those? Like magic?
I almost said technivore. That is not what it is.
That's chronomechanics. Taylor's got chronomechanics on the brain.
The chronomites are technivores. Aren't they? The technology.
Oh yeah.
Check out the Chronomechanics website and read the bios about them. Most of the villains mentioned have had their own solo books that are in trade length, so it wouldn't be that hard to create those movies. Yeah. Oh, Gil says, Art and Taylor, have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody? If so, what did you think about it?
I have not. You know what? Tell us what you thought before, because I I don't know. I have thoughts about these type of movies, and Taylor and I talked, but I would like to see what the chat thinks first.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I still want to, even though, well, I don't want to get too much.
Yeah, I want to see it as well. I just don't know if I want to see it, pay for it on the big screen.
I agree. What I do want to see is a Kiss movie. Done right.
Not the Phantom of the Park or whatever.
I want to see the guy that plays Freddie play Paul Simon. And Paul Stanley.
Oh.
No, but he should play Paul Simon too.
Paul Simon.
That would be the weirdest Kiss movie.
Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland.
They're like, I don't know why he's here, but this is.
Just, what is it? Slip out the bag, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. Don't need to be coy, Roy. Just listen to me. What does he say? Something. I don't need to discuss much. Just drop out the key, Lee, and set yourself free.
There's still like.
That's a great song, by the way. I love that song.
It is.
That's Paul Simon. Look it up.
Who do you pick? Are you more of a Simon or a Garfunkel?
I don't. That hurts. Just don't make me decide between my two favorite children.
There was a special on them on 60 Minutes. Yes, I know it's an old person show, but shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
I didn't mean to get so defensive with you guys.
Shut up, you.
But they had them on there because I forget which one of them is doing some kind of new like concert. And they're like, "Would you guys ever get back?" And they were both mutually like, "No."
I don't think it's up to the one. I think it's all up to Paul Simon.
Yeah, I think Paul Simon holds the cards. And he should be played by the guy that plays.
Okay, this is the reason I can never like Art Garfunkel. It'd be played by that guy from Freddie Mercury. Yeah,
That'd be hilarious.
He plays dual roles as Art Garfunkel and Paul Simon. He plays both roles.
They just keep jump cutting.
Digital technology, why not? He's a good actor. He can do it.
I would love that.
But what is it? That Bridge Over Troubled Water? Like you can never take it away from Art Garfunkel because look at the hairs on my arm already. Like that performance is crazy. There's a live performance of that song. Look it up. It'll make you weep. It's amazing.
It's timeless. It's very beautiful. I don't know. They're very good. I'll leave it at that. See, Doctor Doom as a German expressionist movie. A German expressionist?
Like an indie, like one of those art films?
Oh, that would be weird. I would watch that.
Taylor, you're talking Taylor's language now.
Pattern Doom after Vlad the Impaler. A little scary to the rest of the world, but local hero.
Exactly. You said you actually just crystallized what I was thinking in a way more direct way, like to where you can relate to it. Yeah, exactly. Like a gothic kind of because of the castle and all that stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. Rhaegar says, "Thank you. J-Law Mystique sucks." I would argue that J-Law sucks, whether she's Mystique or not.
Who's J-Law?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh God.
J-Law.
I'm glad I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, J-Law.
Mystique is so trash, says Level 3.
I don't know that Jennifer Lawrence. I don't like her at all.
I don't like her either.
I don't often just I reserve this term for certain people. I think she's a douchebag.
Yes, she is.
I think she's a bona fide douchebag.
Oh God.
Sorry, J Lo, or what's her name?
Don't apologize
J
to
Lee.
J. Lee.
That's an insult to J Lee. Sorry, J Lee. J Lee's a great man. He really is. He's cool. He ain't no J. What's her name?
J-Law.
J-Law.
She's a really bad actress.
What was it? Didn't she play J something in that movie?
Remember when she
Mocking Jay? What's her name in that?
Katniss Everdeen.
Katniss Everdeen.
We used to talk about me and my friends.
Just that alone is cringy and douchey.
We were talking about how like easy it is to
Douchey.
make up. Yeah, that's why she's douchey. Talking about just making up Hunger Games names because of how stupid they are and how easy it is.
Katniss Gabardine.
Sparrow Lovesworth.
Sparrow Lovesworth.
Clamshaw McGinnis. Like it's so easy.
Oh man, I'm laughing too hard. Getting all. I'm gonna take off my jacket. I'm getting kind of hot here. It's a little warm in these rhinos.
Ignition says, I've told you before. Oh, is this a quote from Todd McFarlane? I told you before. I told you 10 times. Wait, I've told you before. You're 10 times the artist now versus then. There's so much more life in your style, and your choices are much smarter.
Who said that?
It says
Todd
Todd.
McFarlane?
Did Todd McFarlane just say that about you?
Thanks, Todd.
James says, actually, they had a Doctor Doom film in the works with Mads Mikkelsen. I could see that.
Ooh.
Loosely attached as the lead role. It went under when Disney acquired Fox. That would have been a good fit, I think.
That guy's weird enough. He could play that role.
He is. And kind of sexy.
You need to stop.
Remember...
Or I'm going to call you the word I reserve for certain.
A douche.
I would never do that, actually. I just wanted to sound tough. Yeah. Or I'm going to call you...
And a Katniss Everdeen.
Katniss? That's even more insulting.
Katniss.
She's like a cat. She's kind of Katniss.
That is a gross name.
Cat-like. Gabardine. Isn't gabardine a material like a clothing or
I think it's Everdeen.
So I'm saying gabardine. Did you say Everdeen? Or
I might have
it
said gabardine.
I like gabardine.
Well, because it sounds like it's more of a word.
Everdeen. What's Everdeen? She's forever a dean. Oh, I just found where I just smudged ink all over. Yeah, it's in the book here.
Take a look. It's in the book.
Take a good look at my face. Does my smile seem out of place?
We should...
These are the tears of a clown.
Aww.
When no one's around.
The tears are falling.
Oh God, no. Oh no,
tears are falling.
You know what? Whenever we do that, it always seems like we're drunk. Because that's stuff you do when you're drunk.
Seems.
It would seem like
I
we're
miss
drunk.
Kiss Corner.
I miss
It's only been not even a week.
I miss Gabardine Evergreen. What is her name?
Everdeen.
Everdeen Gabardine.
Let's see. A technomancer. That's what they're called.
That's it. Technomancer. Technomancer? Yeah. Like a mage or whatever. Yeah.
Remember, Fox and Disney may have had related IPs, but they are in film competition, so I wonder how many there were actually.
Fox still has that stuff from my understanding, because it's Sony that Disney made pact with, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know who? There's one person that's the Pete Best of the Marvel deals, the cinematic universe, that people don't talk about is Paramount Studios. Because if you remember all those Marvel films, they partnered with Paramount.
That's right.
Like Iron Man and Hulk and all those things.
I always forget about them even being an element in this, to be honest.
Yeah, so I don't know if they were just used as distributors or what they actually used Paramount Studios for.
What are they? I don't know. I feel like Paramount what have they even been doing? Like, I can't think of like a Paramount property right now.
Yeah, they were kind of riding high for a while and then they just kind of dropped off. It's weird because I always think like that about Universal. Like, if the exception of like October months, Universal doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't.
They're just like horror films.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird.
And now with, what is that horror company that did the last Halloween? Blumhouse. Like, I think they actually partner with Universal though. I think Blumhouse is partnered.
I don't know. Blumhouse is a really weird company.
A very successful
Oh yeah,
company. Holy
somebody
crap.
did a video that was really interesting. I'm not a big fan of like the Blumhouse horror movies, but they did this really interesting video. I forgot who it was, where they kind of talked about that guy that heads Blumhouse and how he buys up these cheap like IPs or whatever, and he just kind of cranks out this stuff and how much he does it. Like he does a crazy amount, like because Blumhouse doesn't just do that horror stuff. That's kind of what they're known for. But they talked about how he's kind of a crazy, like smart businessman.
Well, the thing is, they do all that stuff on a really small budget,
Yes.
and so even if there's a hit, it's not a major hit, and so then they make it up in volume. So in lieu of one big like blockbuster, they have a bunch of like little films,
Mm-hmm.
and as long as that they're all showing a profit, then he can keep moving forward in the hopes that one of them will hit big. Like I bet you that I don't know what the numbers were on what was it, Halloween,
Oh yeah.
but I bet you that thing cleaned up because I know a lot of people that saw that movie.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, almost like all of my immediate friends saw that movie.
Yeah, so whether it was good or bad, whatever you think of it, that doesn't matter because I think it did really well,
Yeah, and I think that
and it wasn't that expensive.
exactly. I think that a lot of them aren't expensive to produce, so the profit's probably pretty good.
You know what we really need to do is we need to our next IP. We should start just thinking about it now and make it horror hero based.
Ooh, I would love that.
Um, because I do think that horror has such a built-in audience, and you don't need big budgets, you don't need huge stars, you don't need any of those things. And I remember, I think it was Steven Spielberg that said he encourages all first-time directors to do a horror movie
Hmm.
because the thing is, you always want a success attached to your name, and the best way to have a success is with a horror movie because there is such a built-in audience and you don't need a big budget to do it.
Hmm.
So if you can make your budget smaller, then you can start showing profit quicker, and by showing profit quicker, then you have the success, right?
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. And so if you think about it, even Jim Cameron, like there's like a lot of directors, like what is it? Even so Spielberg's first movie was a horror film. Uh, Cameron's and I think what was Cameron's? Was it? It wasn't Terminator, but Terminator is a horror. I think it's a horror film.
Yeah, the first one.
The first one, yeah, not
really is.
yeah. And then gosh, who am I thinking of? He did the Lord of the Rings movies. Did
Oh, Peter Jackson.
Peter
He did
Jackson's
several.
horror films, and gosh, was even the Spider-Man guy,
Raimi?
Raimi, wasn't he like a horror guy too? Like, because he did all like I don't know if they were his first movies, but the Army of Darkness and all those.
Oh, you know what? I don't know.
Sam Raimi.
I don't know a lot about him.
But I think it's good advice.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think that's some pretty wise advice. I like horror kind of has a weird root. There used to be a weird root in comics anyway. Like horror comics were a big thing.
Oh, I just got the idea, but I'm not gonna say it.
Don't say it. You guys will have to wait.
I just got it. Boom, baby.
I got it.
Next, you see Taylor and I, we're gonna be lighting our cigars with $100 bills.
Like Stan Lee.
Exactly like Stanley.
Stan the man. Remember, let's see, the one where Doom and Stark went back into Camelot was the one I remember most.
Ooh, that's cool. That's when Marvel was fun.
Yeah. I'm mostly thinking opposite Iron Man because he's been established already for the MCU, but then again, who knows?
What is that one that Mike Mignola did? It was like a graphic. It was a hardback book. Was it Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom? Oh my gosh,
That's
just
a
those.
weird combo.
I think it's a cool combo.
A cold cut combo.
Well, don't. I'm getting hungry.
Let's see. LOL, that Kiss movie was wild. So it's level 3.
Oh my gosh.
Dak.
You gotta learn that Ace Frehley line.
Rhaegar says, biopics are typically not very good. I watch them, but woo, some are terrible. Yeah. Is there a biopic you can think of, Art, that you like really enjoyed?
I like the creative process, so if there's ones about like they're just like documentaries, right? Like
I think biopics are different though because they're like acted, right?
Oh, were they dramatically? No, I don't like reenacting. No,
yeah, I guess like this Bohemian Rhapsody type thing.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of like any.
I think it depends on the subject matter. Freddie Mercury and Queen intrigues me. I think they have good drama, like good behind the scenes stuff, and just good music. So I think it's intriguing. So that movie kind of does it for me. I like straight on like documentaries of like creative people and things like that. God, what was it? I know this is gonna date me, but MTV had some cool programming at one point, and they did those behind the music things, and they were kind of like biographies, and I used to like those.
I like them too. Didn't they used to like reunite them too, or am I imagining?
Oh, that was another show. That was actually pretty cool. Where they go, where? Yeah, I think the show. Where are they now? Yeah.
I used to love that. I thought that was pretty good. Sometimes it was kind of sad, but
I think they did like it was Poison or something like that, and then like one of the guys is like a sign painter.
Oh. Yeah, stuff like that. It's interesting. They don't have a lot of stuff like, well, music I guess is a totally different scene now. As I learned from Paul Stanley's book.
What is his book called? Kiss and Tell?
I think it's, oh my gosh, A Life. I forget what it's even called.
Something pretentious.
Something stupid. It's in my history. It's biopics, typically blah blah. Micah again, the 8-year-old says he's menacing in the other movies of Justice League, so he's probably going to be menacing in this one. Are you talking about Black Manta? Dead Punk says, hop on the bus, Gus.
Gus, don't need to discuss much. Just drop off the key, Lee.
This comment wins it. Micah says, also, I love Kiss. They're in Scooby-Doo.
Hell yeah.
Rhaegar says, I'm used to watching long-form interviews that chop up editing in shows like 60 Minutes. It really stands out.
Yeah, I like that stuff. I like the creative process, period. I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day, even if it's just like how we make this widget or whatever, like the like you know what I mean, like all that stuff, like the creative process behind making a tire. You know,
TJ watches those things all the time.
How to make your own airplane.
Some of them are cool, but then other like you don't want to get like this is the episode about kitty litter or something.
Yeah, like minutia, that kind of. Yeah, who cares about that?
Some of them are neat though. I'm glad that the chat overwhelmingly shares my sentiment on J-Law. Incredible Hulk says, J-Law even sounds like some terrible white rapper nickname from the 80s or early 90s.
It does.
She's got the acting ability of Silly Putty.
Is it weird when you call a woman a douchebag? It seems like it's reserved for guys.
I feel like it's more fitting in a way. I'm trying to hold in my laughter at work over the Hunger Games names, says Rhaegar. Incredible Hulk says, if you call me Katniss, I would be so much more offended than if you just called me a douche.
I hear you.
What would be the Hunger Games version of douche?
Cat douche.
It'd be like
Doucheness. Doucheness Gabadine. Doucheness Gabba Gabba. Gabba Gabba Doucheness.
That sounds like a children's show.
With the wiggles.
Yes. Tank Ferret says, Art, are you going to be on Drawn and Quartered tonight?
If I can get this iPad, if I can get a proper link to this iPad, then
Demand
yes.
it. Demand it, audience, if you want it.
I think they're going to be doing Stan Lee characters tonight.
That's a pretty broad...
I know.
The entire Marvel universe.
Every day's a Stan Lee character day.
Wait, they're doing it tonight? I thought
Yeah,
they did on Tuesdays.
They changed the date. Yeah.
Todd Mulrooney.
Todd.
Do you know him?
Name sounds real familiar. Todd Mulrooney.
You probably know if you saw the user stuff. Let's see. What's up?
Oh.
TGA.
Todd Mulrooney. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Todd, what's up?
Let's see. Dead Punk Gage says the Star Trek and Mission Impossible franchises. I don't know what that's referring to. I'm already forgetting. Oh, is that Blumhouse?
No, there's no way.
I don't know if I like Blumhouse, says Rhaegar. Dead Punk says, Jason Blum, I believe he purchased the movie rights to Infidel recently. Oh, gosh. You don't even necessarily need a good script for a horror film to make bank.
Yeah, but ours would be a good script.
Evil Dead. Raimi did the Evil Dead series.
Yes.
Cameron's was Piranha 2.
That's right.
The Spawning.
Thank you.
And Peter Jackson did Dead Alive.
Yes.
Rhaegar says, the third Terminator is a horror movie, in a way, because of how bad it was.
Yeah. Actually, all the Terminator movies that came out after the second one were horror movies.
I agree. R.I.P. Bernie writes in, horror comics will never be the same.
True.
That's the one where Doom and Strange journey into hell to save Doom's mother from Mephisto. Comics are weird.
Yeah, but it was Mike Mignola's art, and I think it was all like blue lined. I want to say it was actually it may have been Steve Oliff, the colorist of the original Black and White.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
By the way, Steve Oliff did an excellent job.
Yes, he did.
He was very, very good.
Steve Oliff and Oli Optics.
That's a great name, by the way. I liked Walk the Line, says Incredible Hulk. I thought Walk the Line was pretty good.
I haven't seen it. I heard that the performance, what's his name? Joaquin, right?
Yeah, I thought that casting was really weird when they first announced it, but he's very good. That movie's pretty good, actually. I thought Ray was an okay movie, too. But that story's kind of depressing in and of itself.
I'm trying to think of a biopic that I did like. I can't really... They did... You know what? It's so weird when we were doing all the John Carpenter research, when we did that Halloween review.
Uh-huh.
That John Carpenter directed a biopic on Elvis.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't remember that.
And it was critically acclaimed. And maybe in the chat, I'll just leave it as a challenge. Because I know who it is, but I don't know if Taylor knows who played Elvis.
I do not know who played Elvis, but I am very curious now.
Let's see. I'm going to give it a couple
Give me
minutes.
a hint. Let's see if anybody chimes in.
I know you're going... I know you love this guy as an actor. And he was recently in a Marvel movie.
The chat's chimed in. Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
What? Oh, that's actually not bad casting.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the biopic predates his stuff with John Carpenter. So it predates Escape from New York, and it predates Big Trouble in Little China. And those ones, like Kurt Russell is channeling Clint Eastwood, and John Wayne, right?
Yeah.
So in the biopic, he's channeling Elvis. So the guy is he's a pretty good mimic. And I don't know if anybody in the can chime in the chat, because it's been a long time since I saw the thing. But I don't know if Kurt Russell actually did the singing. Like if he did some of the Elvis singing.
That would be impressive. I want to see that. When did that? I'm assuming a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it was a made-for-TV movie actually, and I think it was. John Carpenter did that shortly after the first Halloween, and now I'm thinking about another biopic that was actually pretty good. It was the Doors movie.
That's what people in the chat were
with
talking
Val
about.
Kilmer. Yeah.
I always heard that one was good. I'm not a big Doors person.
When he locks Meg Ryan in the closet and sets it on fire. Big scene. It's a showstopper.
Oh my god.
Meg Ryan of all. Like,
Aww.
America's sweetheart.
Why?
Because apparently, what is that guy's name? The singer was a jerk.
Yeah. I have a lot of opinions about him, but I don't want to offend anybody.
Don't you love her madly? Wanna meet her daddy?
He was a troubled man.
Don't you love her as I'm setting fire to the closet?
He had a hard life.
He had a heart of coal.
He was troubled.
He was a flaming youth.
Kurt's performance was so good that he voiced Elvis in Forrest Gump. Interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison? That sounds weird to me.
Jim Morrison, yeah.
Well, yeah, Deadpunk Gage Neil said Morrison was an oddball.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does anyone remember Val Kilmer Elvis from True Romance? I never saw that movie.
True Romance? No.
Like 79.
Don't you love her as she's walking out the door?
Let's see. Yes, Triumph and Torment by Mignola and Turn. That's where the German expressionist idea came from. VH1, Behind the Music. Oh, yes.
That's what it was, VH1, yeah. Yeah, it couldn't have been MTV. They hadn't done anything cool in a while.
Pixel Trader says, remember pop-up video?
Oh, man. My daughter loved pop-up video in the time.
They're pretty,
at the time.
They're pretty awesome.
Gosh, see if you could find it. I think it was on Kiss, or maybe it was either Kiss or it was Prince's Kiss. And so you know how they get it? They get rhythmically, like they go, kiss, kiss this, kiss that. You know how they whoop, whoop,
Yes.
whoop, and they just start doing like, I think it was either the band Kiss or the Prince song Kiss, and there was like 4 or 5 Kiss jokes, one right after the other, and it just kept they just kept topping each other, and I was like rolling.
That
Kiss this, kiss that.
Whoever wrote pop-up video
Kiss.
could be a major smartass.
Yeah, exactly. Did you know? And then they would give like some fun fact that would just be totally humiliating to the band.
They used to. I don't know.
Did you know Jim Morrison would pick his nose before every performance? And then he would eat it. He didn't do that. I just made that up.
I believe it. No, he did. There was
He would set his girlfriend on fire before every performance.
It was the only way he kept motivated. I know you don't like it, but I gotta do it.
It's for the fans.
I remember.
Pop-up video.
I don't think it was a pop-up video per se, but they had like on AMC they showed the first Mad Max, and it was like a pop-up video or like the commentary, and it was very funny. And I just remember there's like a really horrible scene where the one actress they had to she made the scene, but she got injured during a car scene where this guy pulls her out the window, and it was like the little pop-up thing was like actress whoever broke her collarbone during whatever scene, and then and when the scene popped up, it's like that's the scene. Like, it was like all casual. It was pretty funny.
And this is where she look at the pain. That's real.
You really can. They probably should have stopped. Tonight, says Tank Ferret, drawn and quartered. Tank Ferret says, I will crush my enemies, see them driven before me, and hear the lamentations of their fans.
Yes.
You don't want to hear lamentations of the fans, though. Don't you want to hear, like... Well, I don't know what you want.
I'm not going to talk for you.
I can't speak for you.
But I will.
But I will read what you wrote. Gil says, Art, what tool do you recommend for somebody wanting to start inking with a brush or start inking with a brush or crow quill pen?
Use this first. I'd say just do them both. Just have fun. I experiment with both. I don't think it has to be either or, but you're going to get better results with a crow quill first. Brush takes a little bit more time. Although there's a little inker that used to work here. His name was Andy Owens. And I tried to keep, here, use the nib. And that guy was just more natural using a brush. I'd never really seen anything like that before. So it's whatever you're most comfortable with, but I think you'll get better results, quicker results with the nib.
There you have it. Let me see. I'm trying to keep up with you guys' chat. Katniss Everdouche. James says, they just hired J-Law for Mystique because they wanted someone who would look good naked in body paint and pasties. I would argue that there's a lot of people in Hollywood that would look good in that can still act. And who don't want to, like, well, I don't want to get into her whole politics. It's a whole other thing.
Pop up, douchebag.
Comic Book Bob says, Art T. Bear. Art, draw Captain America for D&Q tonight. Even though Stan didn't create Cap, he influenced his return to such an extent that his DNA is all over it. Ew. That sounds gross.
Stan's DNA is all over it. I think he's talking figuratively, Taylor, not actual
right.
DNA. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. You just went Katniss on me.
I went full Katniss.
You went full Katniss.
Never go full Katniss.
Never. Meow. Pop up, douchebag. Oh man, if we had the sound effects, that'd be awesome.
We need a soundboard.
A little yeah, donate in the
donate button.
Yeah, hit the donate button and go to PayPal so we can get a soundboard.
That's one of our goals.
That may be the beginning of the end of this show, because I think at least the first week, right, all we would do is hit the sound effects and crack ourselves up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we would just do that. We would just forget that anybody else was here.
But you have to.
And we would just be pushing buttons.
A little bit. You have to, I think. You gotta test it out. I want one, for sure, for the Kiss show.
I want my MTV.
Remember when MTV was cool?
For like 12 seconds.
I always thought it was neato.
The worst part about In the Day was just waiting hopelessly for the video you wanted to see. And those bastards at MTV would go, we're within the next hour, we're going to play insert your favorite video. And then it would take an hour to get to the video. So you'd be like, I want to see it before I have to go to work. I want to see the video. I want to see the freaking Beat It video.
Just at least once. Yeah, by the time I got to it, MTV already had like a separate channel for videos, but they would play the same 3 videos for all eternity. So I think I saw the Naughty Girl video by Beyonce like 140 times because it was constantly on. And what a video it was. It
changed history.
It symbolized that my mom was taking forever to get home from work is what it symbolized, because I would like wait and watch it. I I like Terminator Salvation, though I know. ... says Rhaegar.
Which is Salvation? Which one was that? The
I don't-
newest one or the?
I don't remember which one was Salvation.
I kind of liked the one. God, that guy had a brief moment on top of the world. What was his name?
Guy that played
MG? No, it was like it was the filmmaker. Was it like MG or something? Like he did a bunch of TV, and then he did one of the Terminator ones, and it was the. Was it a prequel? What was the where it
one
had John as? Wait,
the
it
one
wasn't
with Batman.
Yeah, with Christian Bale. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Salvation. I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't mind that one. I don't
That one
think this is the pin I want.
That one wasn't great, but in comparison to what came after, it was.
Oh, and it had that Aussie guy from the Blue Cat movie.
The guy that can't act.
Oh, that guy's not good.
They're like, he was a construction worker. And I'm like, yeah, everybody could tell because he's pretty bad. I always like when Hollywood, like, totes people, or they're like, they weren't actors. And then you can just, yeah, we know.
I can tell.
Like the girl that played Precious. They're like, she skipped school to do this. And I don't know. I guess that novelty carried her because that's a terrible movie. Let's see. Kurt's performance is so good. He voiced Elvis. Anyone remember Val Kilmer Elvis? Let's see. Papa Video was great. Speaking of commentary, says Incredible Hulk, there is an amazing director commentary for Conan the Barbarian with Arnold. It really cracked me up.
That would be cool if they get into the art direction, because I think Will Stout did the art direction on that. He's a comic book guy, Taylor.
Huh.
He's got one of the best books on dinosaurs and dinosaur drawings. I think it's just called Dinosaurs. It's an old book. It's really, really cool.
Gotta know how to draw those dinosaurs. That wasn't even sarcastic. You should know how to draw dinosaurs. I always thought, like, I don't know, it's really... Dinosaurs are, like, a weird thing that I feel like will always be in pop culture because every kid loves dinosaurs. And they're not really in comics a lot now. They used to kind of be in, like, a lot of them, I feel like.
We should update Cadillacs and dinosaurs with, like, what are those electric cars?
Priuses?
With Prius and dinosaurs or something. Some, like, really...
We call it prehistoric.
Ooh.
Prius
historic.
That would be... They're like, it's not going fast enough. It needs a charge.
It needs a charge.
I would love that.
The thing is that you could get into fossil fuels and stuff. There's a lot of jokes there that you could get into. It's like, your days are numbered. Like they could yell it while they're driving past the dinosaur,
That's hilarious.
Days are numbered. Like a conservative, like, what do you call those? Like, conservationist. He gets trapped in the
Oh no.
in the dinosaur era, and he just has his car and one charging box.
Oh no. He has to get home before the one charge runs out. Let's see.
Like Back to the Future meets Jurassic Park or something.
Have you seen the Galaxy Quest? Oh, have you seen the Galaxy Quest movie with the Thermian commentary? I couldn't stop laughing.
No, I didn't know that exists. That's one of our favorite movies here at the T-Bear household.
I didn't know that existed either. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
My wife Pamela loves that movie.
It's really good.
By Locknard's hammer, you will be avenged. It's weird because it's really funny, but it's really heartwarming, and it really does pay tribute in a very realistic way Star Trek. Not just the actual Star Trek show, but those guys as actors, like those people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're kind of playing caricatures of those
of like
actors.
William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Guy, I love when it's like, we got to get out of here before one of those things kills Guy.
Because is he one that always dies?
His name is Guy, and he's a red shirt, so he doesn't
Aw.
even have a real name. Like, I know Guy is a name, but it's not. It feels like it's just like your parents forgot to call you. It's like,
He's a little guy.
yeah, it's just calling him boy or something. Like, hey boy, hey guy. Like,
Aw.
it's like what you call people when you forget their name.
Come here, guy.
Yeah, so I thought it was a nice joke.
That's
I hope there's no one named Guy out there. I think Guy is also a strangely, it's a cool tough guy name.
masculine.
Yeah.
I really like gal because it's just the female version of
Gadot.
guy. Gal. It's very cute, I think.
Hey gal. Guys and gals.
With the director and Arnold, I
Ooh,
mean.
we could do a play on just names
Guys
like
and gals.
Guys and Gals.
Salvation is the 4th movie, directed by MCG.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah. What did he was like one of those WB guys. Like, he created some franchise. I want to say it's like Supernatural or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was a TV guy
I think you're right. It sounds familiar.
turned film.
Sam Worthington. Yes, that's that actor.
Ooh.
Mark C says, my favorite dinosaur comic is Tyrant by Stephen Bissett.
Ooh, Stephen Bissett.
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur killed dinosaurs in comics. To be fair, there wasn't a lot of dinosaur stuff going on before that. Fire says, check your PayPal. Did you send Tweefitty?
Tweefitty.
Prius Historic.
Prius Historic, yes. That's going to be the next book, you guys.
James says, Reed and Whitney fighting a T-Rex robot in a museum. Will it happen?
Oh, you need to stop right now, because now we got to do it. We got to finish this book real quick so we can do that.
I know. That'll be a stretch goal in the next campaign.
I would love to put that as a backdrop. I'd love to draw those bones. I love drawing bones and skeletal stuff.
Oh, snap. That's a winning name right there. Prius Historic.
It'd just be a cool comedy. Just like this uppity, like, conservationist that just is like Back to the Future instead of the DeLorean. It's like this Prius.
That would be an awesome poster.
Cadillac and dinosaurs.
Kurt Russell also played... I remember this movie. Kurt Russell also played a thief who was an Elvis impersonator in 3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Oh, okay. I remember that movie.
I saw that as a kid. I don't remember a lot about it.
You've been to Graceland.
I have been to Graceland.
Okay, you gotta tell the story.
No, it's embarrassing.
No, it's awesome.
Okay, everybody's gonna hold this against me. Okay, I'll just get into it. When I was a kid and I was graduating, it feels weird saying graduating. I was getting out of elementary school. I can't remember if it was, I can't remember if it was elementary school or junior high. That's the problem. I'm pretty sure it was elementary school. My mom said to celebrate, because she had been like saving money and I was like getting good grades. She was like, you can either pick to go to Disney World or you can go to Graceland. And I picked Graceland.
Wait, she gave you the choice, or you? I thought you picked them.
That was the thing. I pitched it. I can't blame my mom for this one because she first offered to go to Disney World, and then I said I wanted to go to Graceland. So, and I remember she gave me a chance. Like, she was like, "Are you sure you don't want to go to Disney World?" But no, I wanted to go to Graceland. So we went. Her and she and I and my grandmother went to Graceland. It was pretty cool, but now I'm an adult and I haven't visited Disneyland ever, or Disney World ever, and I really want to. So I look back on it I don't want to say I look back on it with regret because it was a lot of fun, but it was a strange choice. I was a major Elvis fan as a kid and like a music fan in general, and I guess I was just really curious about it, but...
Yeah, but you went to You went to Graceland. That's pretty cool, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you think it's cool.
I think it's really cool. I look back and I think that would be a cool experience to have, you know?
It was really cool.
You had the headphones on and you're walking around, going in the jungle room, and then he's buried there too, right?
I believe he is, yes.
And didn't you say they have like banana and peanut butter sandwiches that you can get there? And
yeah, I got one.
You have to, right?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
When in Rome.
It was fun, like, going around that whole area, too. We went to Beale Street and stuff, and all around that area, and the trip to Graceland itself was, like, fun, but we went everywhere else around there, which was pretty cool.
You guys literally drove, right?
We flew.
Oh, you flew, okay.
We flew to Tennessee and went around Memphis and drove and stuff. Like, we had, like, a rented car.
This is turning into like a Paul Simon.
Yeah, how did we get back to like
chat? Like, because all I can hear is that
I'm going to
Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee.
My traveling companion is Taylor Grosso. I'm going to Graceland.
My mom always brings up this horrible story of like we were like going to Graceland the next day. We had been driving. We were staying at this hotel, and this couple was fighting like super super loud next door. And we had to get up and drive the next day, and they were like fighting hardcore. And my mom, for some reason, like pounded on their like wall, and was like, "Shut up!" And then we heard like the guy slam the door and come up to our door, and like knocked on it. And then like she's like, "Oh man!" So then we were just like,
"Act like you're asleep."
Yeah, he's like, "I know that you're yelling at us." So we went and called hotel security.
Taylor, get out the window. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I remember immediately after she like yelled at them, she's like, "Well, that was a bad decision." Like right after.
Taylor, don't ever do that.
And she was like, "That was a really dumb thing to do." Comic Book Bob says, by the way, a few good biopics were Amadeus and Raging Bull.
Amadeus, I love that movie.
But Amadeus
I don't ever think of those as biopics. I just think of them just like really taking some major license.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like Amadeus is really not true to the actual story from what I've heard.
He was a rocker, man. He mooned the king or whatever it was.
That was funny. Salieri. But it was not the audience that laughed. It was not the audience that laughed. 'Twas God! I like to think that Paul Stanley is gonna say that, like on his deathbed about people liking Ace Frehley. That's the movie. You make it like Amadeus, but it's just Paul Stanley lamenting about how people loved Ace Frehley.
Ooh.
Because Ace Frehley has that crazy laugh.
The Paul Stanley memoirs. Just this grumpy, angry guy in makeup.
See, it's so similar because he could be wearing the makeup the whole time.
Oh, just think about this. Okay, those guys are getting older. What if one of them died with the makeup on? With the makeup on.
They need to be buried in the makeup. It's the only way.
The only way it could have ended. Paul Stanley is hanging from that thing going across the audience and has a coronary.
Oh.
He falls from the thing.
He's had a rough time.
The fans like just cheer because they think it's part of the show.
That reminds me of the Boondocks when they had Gangster Delicious got shot.
Gangster Delicious.
And they have like he was shot during his famous song "I Got Shot," and they show him he's like "I got shot," and everybody's chanting "I got shot," and he's like, "No, I really got shot." And then it just says an ambulance wasn't called for 2 hours. He's just laying on the ground.
Those Kiss guys talk about that all the time, getting jacked up on stage, and just people are like, "Yeah!" They cheer louder. Cool, he's on fire. Ace can't get up.
Aww. In the book, Paul talks about how he had his parents came to watch a show and he was all proud, like he could see them, and he's just like in his element, and then a bottle just came sailing out of the audience and hit him right in the head, and he was like, "I was bleeding, but I had to keep going."
That's hilarious.
But he's like, you know, our road crew, like he says it all sweet, like our road crew were the best guys. They found the guy after the show and beat him.
And beat the crap out of him.
Oh.
Do you remember? Okay, gosh, this is we have to start like showing some of this chrono mechanic stuff.
I was about to bring that up.
Go ahead. The
So,
Doug thing.
Doug's life, well, his life is in parallel, but Doug's power is that Doug's pretty much the lead character in Chrono Mechanics. They're kind of an ensemble, but anyway, his power is that he has incredible luck, and he's kind of like 70s rock god. And he's at a concert, and somebody in the audience throws a bottle at his head, and it hits his head but bounces, and it strikes the guy who threw the bottle, instantly killing him in the audience.
Yeah. So what he has is he has this dumb luck power. So Doug he's a 70s rocker, like she said, and so he's performing on stage, and a guy in the crowd just throws a bottle at him. Bounces off Doug's head, doesn't hurt Doug, and then comes back at the guy that threw it, and it hits him in the head, killing him instantly.
I think someone from the audience is like, "Oh my gosh, he's dead."
He's dead.
Yeah, Doug is. What would you say? How would you describe Doug as a character? Like, is he modeled after just like an amalgam of musicians from that time, or?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like this is Spinal Tap kind of stuff. And since we're kind of reliving, I'm reliving Kiss, and you're like experiencing for the first time. I don't know, man. Like some of that stuff, you hear those stories, and they're kind of normal rock stories, like the stuff in Spinal Tap. A lot of that stuff was real.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
there's a 70s band called Angel, and they were kind of the antithesis of Kiss?
According to Paul Stanley,
According
they
to
were
Paul,
the anti-Kiss.
They were the anti-Kiss. Which wouldn't Kiss be the anti-Angel?
I would argue that Kiss is more the anti-Angel, yeah.
Yeah, if you have the Angel, then you know whoever's the bad ones would be the anti. But anyway, there's that scene in This Is Spinal Tap, the movie. If you guys haven't seen this, you talk about biopics. It's like they call it a rockumentary. It's one of those. It's probably one of the first
Mockumentaries?
It's a mockumentary, but it's probably one of those first ideas that you see, like even Modern Family does it, and The Office did it, where you have like. Is it like a third person camera? There's like a third person character, but this actually was being a documentary, but where
the film crew is a character.
Yeah, the film crew is a character, and then they're interviewed and they talk directly in the camera, kind of thing. So it's kind of that idea.
Kind of fourth wall breaking in that way.
Yeah, and so there's a scene where the band get trapped underneath the stage and they can't find their way up to the stage. So that's one of the ideas that was actually did happen. And the second one was when there's those pods on stage and the bass player gets stuck in the pod through the whole song. So he's basically playing the bass while he's in the pod, and then the road crew are trying to get him out of the pod while the performance is going on. And then finally, after the song's over, they get the pod open, and the bass player comes out like, yeah, like he's all rock and roll, like I finally did it. And then everybody climbs back in the pods and then goes back, and then he goes back to climb in the pod, and the pod closes on him, and you just hear the bass like thunk, bong. And so that band Angel, okay, Taylor, go, we got to show them. There's little CDs right over there. We got to show you what these guys look like. They're freaks.
Wait,
it's on the second shelf.
Second shelf.
Yeah, second aisle, down about midway.
Foo Fighters.
Keep going. It's right in there somewhere.
Let's see. We were going
Lower. It's right in there somewhere. Right where your finger's at.
The Last Stand, Dio.
Is it in there somewhere?
Oh wait, no.
Okay.
Punky Meadows, Fallen Angel.
No, it's got to be in there somewhere. But anyways,
I'll find it.
These guys dressed in all white, kind of like Queen did, and what they would do is they would appear, like they would manifest on stage like magic, and then they would disappear on stage. It was a magic trick, of course. But the appearing thing, they had like these pods, like in Spinal Tap, but they were like these towers, I think they called them, and they would come up out of the ground, and then they would materialize. The band would materialize, and of course, you couldn't see it because there were no lights, and then they would light it up when they appeared on stage. So it would seem like they were magically appearing. And so then there was that, and then at the end they would climb inside like some kind of magical, I think it was the logo of the band or something like that. And then the thing would rise up in the air, and then it would blow up, and then they would all be gone. Well, obviously they were in the ground, like they were like a magic trick. They were under the stage. Well, when they were under the stage, they got trapped, just like Spinal Tap. So they're under the stage, and so they hear like people chanting, like cheering, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, they want the band to come back for the encore, and so they're like, they can't find their way back to the stage. So they hear all these people chanting, and they can't find their way to the stage. Just kind of like the Spinal Tap idea.
Man,
and
the only one I found doesn't have the thing on it.
Oh, they got to be in that same area.
Yeah.
There's a whole stack. Just grab the whole stack and bring them over here. And so then the pods were obviously like the towers. They're right where that angel one was. They're in that same group.
Beatles, On the Road Sabaton.
They're right in there somewhere. Just grab that stack. That's right there. They have to be there.
Let's see it. I guess right here. Oh wait, I think there's one right here. Yeah.
Sabaton.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. There's this. Oh shoot. Let me see.
There they are.
Oh god. Is it upside? It's not upside down, right?
Let me see. I think it's.
So the cool thing about this is they're all like kind of like magical, but there's this logo right here, and then look at it.
That logo's cool.
Yeah, you could. So they had like cool little things like this, but you could tell like they're the anti like Kiss or whatever. And so here's their logo here. And so they would let's see if there's oh, it's the same. They would kind of I guess climb in this thing, and then they would disappear. But apparently they were filming some movie, and they were on some soundstage, and those guys from Laverne and Shirley, the two like thuggy guys that would hang out with Laverne and Shirley, like, hey Laverne, and one of those guys was the guy from Spinal Tap. What was his character's name?
That I was going to say Lenny and
yeah, it was Lenny and Squiggy. Yeah, it was those two guys. But Michael something. He's the guy that played the lead guy in Spinal Tap. And so I guess they were hanging out, like, because they were on the same soundstage or whatever. And so those guys told that story to them. And so they wrote those things into This Is Spinal Tap. So those things actually happened to a real band.
That's hilarious.
So you would think, like, there's no way, right? Because it's just so crazy to think about it. But yeah, those things are real. So one of the things about writing Doug as a Chrono Mechanics character, like a 70s rock star, is there's so many of those stories, but they're all real.
Yeah, you hear that stuff and
yeah, it's just crazy.
Inspiringly hilarious.
Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. Like, you'd think there's no way this could actually have happened, and yet it did. God, I'm trying to think. I read some bio on like AC/DC or something like that, and there was some crazy stuff like that too, that it just seems like it's an inch away from being in a Spinal Tap movie.
The funniest is when the people telling it, like, they tell it's kind of a really like self-defacing story, but they don't realize how like dumb it makes them look, or like.
Yeah, like it's to them, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, it just happened, but to everybody else, they're like, that's kind of humiliating.
Yeah, like, why would you tell the story, but you getting lost in the bottom?
Yeah.
Couldn't find the stage. We're just wandering around.
Couldn't find the stage. Which way's to the stage?
Let's see.
Doesn't the...
Michael McKeenan and David Lander.
Yeah, it's Michael McKean. Yeah.
They need a black and white t-shirt with the logo or MI10 Research Branch logo.
Ooh, did we show that logo?
Yeah, we had a logo. we showed in, it's like 2 videos ago. Rhaegar says, "Oh my god, that album cover! I can't stop laughing."
It's hilarious, right? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like I I kind of liked them in the '70s, so I'm not going to defend it at all because I realize it's weird. But I have stuff like that I think is hilarious that I listen to. And one of them is that band ABC from the '80s. They had that song "Shoot That Poison Arrow."
Oh yes.
Yeah, and it's that stuff cracks me up. So yeah, and there's I don't know. I hope I'm not stepping on any Hall & Oates fans, but I think some of that Hall & Oates stuff is pretty hilarious.
There's nothing wrong with, poking fun at some stuff you've enjoyed.
Yeah, and I like that stuff, but I can still see that it's kind of hilarious.
I think people get too defensive about those kind of things in general. Like, I think there's also, you can like something while fully admitting it's not that great. Like, there's a lot of things that I like that, there's a lot of movies, I guess I should say, that I like that I don't think are, like, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they're like guilty pleasures, right?
Yeah.
There's like I'm not going to defend some of my bad musical taste or like bad music or even comic books because I'll cop to it. It's like, yeah, this is kind of silly or stupid.
But it doesn't affect it being enjoyable.
Yeah, but I still like it. It's this is the one, right? This robots.
Yes, that's the one that we are. I think that's the one we're finalizing.
Yeah. So, gosh, I would love to make this as a patch, as a stretch goal
Yes.
for the black and white Indiegogo. But these are all kinds of alternative patch designs that I came up with for the MI10.
How long ago did you come up with those?
This is kind of a midway point, I think, in the evolution of black and white, the 25-year evolution.
Wow.
So this is probably 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago.
Mamma mia.
Oh my.
Let's see.
Yeah, so this one would, instead of 6, it would be MI, and then it would be 10 there.
We talked about in the one video, like MI10 was a real branch of British intelligence. That 10 is, I believe it was weapons and technology.
Yeah, it was weapons and technology.
And what was it, like World War II?
2, yeah. And then I guess they closed it down, but in this story we're saying that they reopened it and it's more of a robotics division. In this storyline.
Yes.
So Reed was a spy, but he specialized in robotics. And so Gray, this character right here, is a robotics expert. So not just building and things like that, but also the psychology and all that stuff as far as robots are concerned.
Yeah, because it's a world where robots are commonplace.
Yeah, it's a slight like future tense story. I guess it's kind of sci-fi, I guess, like backdrop.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to make sure this is all set in right here. Play 7/7/34.
What's 7/7/34?
I think a place.
Hey, my wife's here. Say hi.
Say hi.
Say hi. Oh, Kenzie, yeah. The Twee Fitty? The Twee Fitty?
Did Pope Fire send Twee Fitty?
Yeah.
Thanks, Pope Fire.
Yes, thanks, Pope Fire.
Play some Sabatons, says Comic Book Bob.
Oh my gosh, did you pull that Sabaton? Or was it on the shelf there?
Yeah, did you guys see it? I think that...
Those guys are awesome. No, it's not here.
Let me
Oh,
see.
well, there's... Yeah, no, it's not here.
Let's see.
But, oh my
I
gosh.
think you have a few.
Yeah, my daughter was like, you gotta check these guys out, Dad. And it's like, it's Sabaton. I'm like, oh, these guys are so awesome.
There's lots of Ghosts. There's
Oh, we're gonna go see Ghosts this Friday.
Oh, you guys are going this Friday?
Yeah.
Nice.
You know what? If you got Ghosts, you got everything.
There's Sabaton. I want us to go
All right.
to the...
If there's any like metal or hard rock fans out there, this guy's gotta check this out. Look at the cover alone. Look at the all like there's like Second World War soldiers next to like samurai warriors, next to Trojan warriors. This guy's got wings on his back.
Those Bushido are dignified.
Dignified. They're all fighting back to back. Sabaton. These guys are bad. Shut your mouth.
When we went camping not that long ago, my one friend who's like really not a metalhead, she's kind of like, I don't want to say girly because that sounds kind of disparaging, but we were playing that in the car, and then when she was setting up, I could hear her like 15-1, sword face the gun. It was on her head from the front.
It's catchy stuff.
I think we should in Kiss Corner we should talk to Scott about us all going to the farewell tour of Kiss.
Yeah, and then we'll get tickets to one of those Kiss cruises.
Oh, I don't know if I can handle that.
Being locked on a ship with, hundreds of Kiss fans
And
for
Gene
days.
Simmons.
For days.
Think of the vlogging we could do during that time.
We could do a bunch of live remotes.
Help! This was a mistake.
I want to come home.
The super chats are appreciated, but we really just need morale.
Hello, Mara. Hello, Fada. Here I am on Kiss Cruise.
Did you ever go to camp as a kid?
I went to Catholic camp,
Oh,
and it's
really?
actually it's not that far from here. The campus or the campsite. Yeah. I did it for 2 years, and the oddest thing there's a lot of things that should have been cooler than they were. And one, I absolutely love pools and swimming, and there's a pool there, and it was cool. But we had there's different I guess packs or whatever, campers.
Oh, okay.
And so we had the morning shift.
Ew.
So it was 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and so we got to swim in the pool at 7 in the morning.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, so the water's freezing cold, we're cold, but we're all yeah, we get to swim. So there was that. And then when I was a kid, I loved playing baseball. So I was absolutely a crazy baseball-aholic. And so we would play baseball. And so they only had 5 gloves or something like that, and they were all beat to crap. There was no padding in them. And then all the kids that were veterans of going to this camp already knew that there was going to be, what they were going to do and everything. So they were prepared. And
that sucks.
yeah, I didn't have a baseball glove. So they actually managed to make one of the things I loved to do as a kid not so cool. Because I'll tell you right now, you try catching a line drive barehanded.
Oh, man.
And they played with baseballs. These were hard balls. And so, yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, after taking a line shot and trying to catch it barehanded, I was no, I'm not gonna try anymore. I'll just sit out here and just, if the ball's kind of just rolling towards me, I'll pick it up.
Aww.
Yeah, it was kind of not cool.
That sucks.
Yeah, but we would go on these hikes in the evening as the sun was going down. It was pretty darn
That part's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But the rest, I never went to camp as a kid.
Yeah, there was a famous Laker. His name was Jerry West, and his kids would go to the camp, and so it's gonna sound weird, Jerry's kids were there, and so one of them fell when we were hiking, and it's kind of dusk, so it's getting dark, and he fell down off the trail, down a ravine.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and so he's like, help, and so yeah,
no.
I was in earshot, so I actually helped Jerry West kid get out of the ravine.
Wow, that is a weird connection.
Isn't it? I always
saved his kid probably.
Yeah, I always how kids you fantasize about greatness and just
you rescued somebody.
Yeah, and then I was I think for the rest of my stay there, I kept thinking oh my gosh, when Jerry West comes to pick up his kid, his kid's gonna tell him the story, and he's gonna come over and he's gonna go, you know what? where is that Art T. Bear? I'd like to thank him. And you know what? It never happened.
Aw. That would have been so cool.
I still hold on to that, though.
It's not too late.
Is how they're saying in the chat. I don't know if Jerry West is still alive or not.
Maybe his kid is listening to this and he'll be like, I remember that.
Yeah.
How did I stupidly fall down that ravine?
Help!
Yeah, you rarely get thanked in those scenarios.
Yeah. Just saving him was enough.
Aw. That's pretty cool. Camp hero.
And then another camp story is the next year. I did bring a glove, so it got better. But my younger brother, was there at camp. So Tony, if you're listening, you might want to turn this off because it's gonna get embarrassing for you. But it's gonna make me look like a cool guy.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. And well, actually, maybe not. I'll just finish the story. So they had like these dorms, and so we all kind of stayed in the same kind of building, like dorm building. And I remember the first night hearing my brother crying.
Aww.
Yeah, he was just a little snot. And so I remember, it's breaking my heart right now just thinking about it. And I just wanted to be able to get to him and tell him it was going to be all right. And I couldn't. So I just remember just kind of having to sit there and just kind of feel bad for my brother.
At least you actually cared as a big brother. Some people have just been like, oh, whatever. I didn't lose a wink of sleep.
I slept like a baby knowing he was tortured.
Was that his first time away from home?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids...
it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother went to it wasn't... Because how long did you guys stay at camp?
It was probably just a week, maybe 4 or 5 days.
Because I always wondered, because you hear summer camp, if that's actually a whole summer or whatever, but...
No, I don't think it was that long, yeah.
Because my brother went to one, but it was for the weekend or something, and he really liked it, but that's a lot easier, because a weekend as a kid feels like you're cool and independent, but I think after a couple of weeks, you're I want to go home.
Yeah, where was the camp? Was it close by your house?
I think it was up in the Big Bear area.
Okay.
Which is a cool kind of...
Yeah, the thing, I think what else is, I lived in LA County, so it's just a concrete jungle.
Mm.
And so now, we live in Corona, and I do believe, because I remember that dam? There's a dam right there that says 1776 and then 1976 or something like that on it. And I always remember that dam when I was a kid, because we used to drive past it to go to that camp.
That's
and
right.
So that's why I know that now I'm living in that area that the camp was. And so when we were kids, it just seemed like it was a billion miles away.
It's very different.
Because it's very wooded out here where we live.
Yeah, California's interesting that way. You don't have to go that far down the freeway to feel like you're in a completely kind of different place.
You could, with traffic being good, you can probably, depending, if you're centrally located in SoCal, you can get to the mountains or the snow and the beach all within maybe 45 minutes, an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I can see why everybody wants to live here. Who doesn't art know? Jerry West, serial killers? He's like the mayor, says TC.
I get around.
Let's see.
Jerry West. I'm glad you guys even know who Jerry West is. He was one of the few white basketball players.
That's funny. Rhaegar says he never went to camp. Not really a nature person.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say I'm a nature person either. I think my parents, It was probably reasonably priced through the church.
They're like, we need to get these.
And they
kids
were
out
like,
of
yeah,
here.
my mom was probably like, we need to get these kids.
I mean, I think that's mostly why kids get sent to camp. I don't think it's always for them. Like, they need to convene with nature. I think most parents are like, oh gosh, like we have to take care of them all summer. They're gonna be at the house.
They're gonna be here 24/7. Like we don't even have like the 7-8 hours that they're at school. Yeah.
So I totally get that. Yes, you're right. Kick them out of the house, says Rhaegar.
Yeah.
Keep hope alive, Art, says Dead Punk.
I will try.
Comic Book Bob, I don't know what this is in. We've been talking so many things. I don't know what this is in reference to. He says, dude, I caught a heater barehanded. My hand was numb for 2 days. After that, it felt like I got stabbed in the palm for a week."
Yeah. I mean, you catch it hurts. Yeah, it was like a line shot. I remember I was like shortstop or third base or something, and it was hit right at, and that's pretty close.
Yes.
And that, oh my God, why? Why did they do that? No gloves?
That's pretty bad. I think most like now they just wouldn't have you play the game, but
Yeah. I just remember like it was just so odd to me as a kid. I was like, "You're ruining baseball for me.
oh, I'm good at this.
Why would you do this?" Okay. How far along are you? Let me get my checklist. Are we able to bring this page together digitally now?
I still have more work I need to do. I just plugged in I've been working on plugging in the portrait on the wall.
Oh, that I'm gonna draw. I just remembered I gotta draw.
The frame was totally different though, so I put in like the frame
Oh, cool.
because this is different.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, the frame and the image has to be changed up. Yeah.
So if you wanna change out the like image, it's not a big deal. I just wanted to make sure the frame was in there.
Yeah, the image as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll do both.
So just get in the.
You know
frame.
what? Shoot. I'm trying to figure out if I should have inked this guy as well. Ooh, what is that?
Chestnut railing.
Ooh, thank you. Look what my loving daughter just brought
Aw.
me. Look at that. That's an extra large too. Thank you, Amanda.
An extra grande.
Do you want half of this?
No, I'm good.
No, this is more than if I drink this.
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it's got sugar in it, right?
Yeah, but not too much.
The sugar will do it. I'll be like, this pot or this chat will get interesting if I drink all that.
This chat has been interesting.
Well, it's
Yeah,
got no whipped cream, so less sugar.
there's no sugar. Let's do this.
Not.
Just not a lot of sugar.
Yeah. Not as much as the normal sugar.
She knows me too
Let's
well.
make things interesting.
Dad gets kind of crazy when he has sugar.
Yes, I do.
It's like the Tasmanian devil of sugar.
Mmm, delicious. Whoop, 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 whoop,
Pralines.
whoop, whoop, whoop. You know what? If you were an ice cream flavor, you'd be pralines and dick. Ain't no prize for anybody who knows what that's a reference to.
Hack Shack, no prize.
The Hack Shack no prize.
Name that movie.
You get nothing.
Aw.
Good day, sir. Okay, so.
Alright, I can't zoom out. I need to see. Okay.
But if I do this, I'm gonna have to use the light box because I'm not gonna draw this. Let's see what we got here. Doot doot doot. Should I put an image there to hold them over
Yeah.
until I get this done? What should I put in there?
Uh,
We should have a standby image.
we should have a standby image. Where's that girl with the mustache? Oh, there we go. get him, Mordecai.
Mordecai.
Wayne's World says comic book.
Yes, you got it. You got the no prize.
No sugar equals no fun, says Dead Punk.
Yeah,
And-
well, you guys.
James says art needs a lot of sugar to prepare for drawn and quartered.
Yeah, well, especially since I had 5 hours logged in on Mike's chit chat last night. I didn't get much sleep.
Jurakin says, question. What is that white border line around the body parts / characters that some artists put around their characters? And if you know what it is, what is the standard thing to do on how to handle coloring that? The halo, I'm assuming?
Is that what he's referencing?
Yeah, the white borderline around body parts / characters that some borderline mate throws me off, but put around their characters. I think it's the halo we're talking about.
Yeah. I think a lot of them color it like whatever the background, like whatever it's butt up to, they kind of color it that way. I don't think they actually color it separately.
Yeah.
I think they color it with whatever the color is that's behind it.
That sounds right to me.
And then sometimes they'll color it in, it'll change to whatever's behind it. So if like this part of the halo is blue and then this part is brown, like whatever's on the sides of it, they'll have that halo change colors. But I think they very rarely, if I'm understanding the question right, will just accent the halo in a different color.
I think that'd be weird.
Yeah, I think that's why they don't do it. I think, unless it's very stylized, because I know, I'm trying to think, Adam Hughes, I think, does like some stylistic halos, and he colors them.
Actually,
So they have a color to them. Let me see if I have any examples.
yeah, I don't think it's super
I think
common.
if you look at comic books, you'll get answers. So if you just start being more observant with your comic collection, you'll probably see some resolves that different colors have done. Because I think there's several different ways. Like I think this is what he's talking about. Like this, can you see it on this thing, Taylor?
Can you guys? Yeah.
There's a halo here, and there's a halo here. I think that's what he's talking about. So
yeah, I think that
see
is.
how this color here, this color just goes through the halo. So this background color becomes the halo here. So, and there's one here as well. So I believe that is usually how they do it. But I think it just depends on what you want to do too. Like if you have a creative idea, how might be an interesting way to resolve it, you should try it. Because you might just be inventing some new language or a new cool way of doing something. So think outside the box.
Good advice.
Yeah, use that challenge as a way to maybe, be creative. Because there's nothing, you don't have to do it the way everybody else does it.
Let me see.
Or do you?
The border, let's see. The border that separates from the background. James says, Art, do you do paintings?
I have painted. Let me see, I'll find some stuff. I just saw some. Oh, here's one here. Can you see it? Oh, guess what? The battery's low. I need to plug this thing in. Is it still on though?
Yeah, we're still on.
Oh man, I'm glad I looked at this.
Good call. Good question.
Yeah, good question. Good call.
Oh no, the screen is frozen, says Comic Book Bob.
Okay.
It might be dying
It says
right now.
low. Do I just hit close?
Yes.
Did it go back on?
Okay, you guys still here? Yes.
Okay. All right. Woo! I just saved the day.
Oh yeah,
Is it back on?
It's back. We jumped a little bit.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna leave this here.
It's back. Yes, here's the painting as the battery was a little low if it cut out.
Yeah, this is really old. Don't judge me on it. It says 1986, so this is just as I was probably breaking into comics, I think.
Let's see. It's back. We didn't see any of the stuff for like the last couple minutes. Yeah, you guys, the battery was low. So if you experienced a jump, we were answering James' question of whether art does paintings or not, and this is one of the examples of paintings from a couple years ago.
A lot of years ago.
Rhaegar says, "Who is this?"
Just somebody I knew.
Let's see.
It's just somebody.
Good, we didn't lose anybody. Thanks for thanks for not ditching us through the thing. It was actually kind of a good fated thing you asked that question, James, because that's what caused us to realize that the battery was low.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I can't find it now. Is this it? No.
Dead Punk says, "Damn, that looks as good, if not better, than Alex Ross."
Yeah, I have another one here. I can't find it. But I worked as an illustrator before comics. So I did this for my wife 1 year. This is 1999.
Wow.
So this is the little one that just brought me the latte.
Aw.
Yeah. So this is pen and ink with wash and some Prismacolor pencil, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I can work very realistic. Most of my training is all photorealistic. So, but I like drawing comic books better. Ah, crunch. Crack, boom.
Precious.
Precious moments. Oh man, everything's shaking now.
Wow, you should paint more often, says James.
I'll do painted covers.
Some artists use it, some don't. Oh, you guys are still talking about the halos. That's awesome, says TC.
Taking care of business. What was it? Elvis's was TCC? Was it taking care? No,
TCB?
TCB. Yeah, TCB.
Taking care of business. Or the... No, it wouldn't work. I was going to say the mama babies, but that would be...
The mama babies.
The TMB.
That's Doug's first band. Doug and the mama babies.
Doug and the mama babies. He brought... that was...
Hey, mama baby. Hey, mama baby.
Elvis had a lot of isms to imitate.
That's why he's the king. Was he the self-proclaimed king like Jackson was self-proclaimed Prince of Pop? Or did like...
I think he earned it. I think
it was given to
dubbed
him.
that.
Okay.
Elvis wouldn't do such a thing.
He wouldn't have done that. The self-proclaimed king of pop.
This just doesn't sound as cool. What was it? A pumpkin spice latte?
No, but that's one of my daughter's favorite.
James wants to know, Art, have you ever considered doing a comic book in painted panels?
Not really. I've entertained the thought, but I don't just personally. This is the weird thing about my personality and who I am. This is an insight. Write this down. I kind of. It comes real easy for me to do that
Painting?
style. Yeah, that style. But for some reason, I don't get as much pleasure out of it as I do comic books. So I actually like just drawing fun stuff out of my head, like imagination stuff, versus like realism and all that. So, like as good as Alex Ross and some of those guys are, and this is gonna sound really weird, and I don't mean it in any real disparaging way, but I could do that like photo ref stuff pretty easily. It wouldn't be that hard for me to do, and I still do use photographs with some of my drawing, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's photo refed.
Not to that degree where it's like.
No. Yeah. So I don't know. It wouldn't even be like it'd be time consuming. I just don't think I have interest in it.
There's not. I feel like there's not a lot of comics in that style right now. I don't know if they're really super popular either.
That more painted style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's more time consuming, painting realistically or a full comic page?
I'd say it's probably this about the same. Like if I had the reference, I could probably oh, you mean like a full painted
I think
page?
like a full painted page, yeah.
Oh,
more
I've never
time-consuming.
done it. I don't know. It would probably take longer to do the full painted page.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of effort.
Well, you're filling. The thing is, like, there's a lot of blank spaces when you're drawing, but if you're painting, all those open areas you have to paint. Like every part of the page, you have to put something in.
That's true. There's no space in between.
So, like, even when you ink, there's open areas, and when you pencil, but when you color, everything is colored. So I think, yeah, just the nature of it would probably take more time. But that, you know what? If I can honestly say, if I stayed in this creator arena for any length of time, I wouldn't rule anything out, because the thing is, when you're working for Marvel, DC, or whatever, you're kind of stuck in a rigid day to day, and there's not a lot of room for, like, what is it, like self practice, like where you can go
Yeah.
off on tangents and kind of explore, like, hey, you know what, I feel like watercoloring today. There just isn't that kind of time, because the schedules are so rigid that
You can't experiment like
yeah,
that.
you can't experiment, or you can't try new things. Not really. You can try new things like within the confines of what you're doing, but you can't really go out of the box too much, because if you're hired to pencil Superman, what are you going to do? Bring some watercolor into it or try a different approach? You can't really do too much. So, but like in this type of situation, if Taylor and I came up with a story and something like that, like watercolor or like more realistic way was better suited to tell the story, then yeah, we would definitely do it. Taylor works digitally. Is it, you use brush, but then you come in, you use one of those, are those Japanese brushes? What do you use?
Yeah, I use a Kiritake brush pen.
And then you kind of do the basics with that, and then you have a texture brush, right, in Photoshop or something, and you go in and...
Yeah, I have a few. There's some good free brushes out there, so I have a couple. We've downloaded a few, but Art still does a lot of his, I would say pretty much all of your spatter and stuff is all organic. And the thing is, like, digital is getting really good where there's interesting brushes like that, but it's hard to compete with traditional that way. But I like doing that.
But you'll like do like brush textures on like figures and stuff. It's not just like
Yeah,
a spattering and stuff,
like
right?
gray tone brush. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
mostly what I do.
Yeah, so
I've been doing a lot of logos in this past couple of years, and that's not as... Don't do that kind of stuff as much. It's mostly like digital mix. But yeah. I think did you, when you were starting out and doing illustration, were you still oriented with ink and stuff, or were you doing like were you still doing ink wash a lot, or were you doing like painting?
they were paintings. Like I'd use oils, acrylics, Prismacolor pencils, airbrush. This would be the late, it'd probably be the early '80s actually. Airbrush was still kind of ruled supreme, so a lot of illustrations like Drew Struzan and a lot of illustrators like movie poster guys and stuff, they were all using airbrush and acrylics and Prismacolor. So most of my training and things were in those with those tools. So it wasn't really pen and ink or anything like that.
I always forget, like, airbrush was it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it actually kind of ruled supreme for a long time. And I think like Photoshop now has become an extension of that. But the problem I think now with Photoshop is that they actually are using photos. Like before they would
Yeah.
use them, but then they would reinterpret them and draw them. Now I don't think they're drawing them at all. They're just kind of using the photographs.
I would say a majority of people aren't drawing them,
Yes,
or they're just kind of tracing over on the I mean,
yeah, they're just augmenting a photograph.
they're
Yeah.
either augmenting or they're just like straight up tracing over it.
Yeah.
Obviously not all, but I know that that's a very, very common practice. And it's really easy to do as far as digital. Like, I know you can do that traditionally, but I think it's especially easy to do digital now.
Yeah, there's guys that
Make a living.
yeah. What is that guy Ross draws, or he starts with like a photograph of like himself and
Oh.
then turns it into those girls and stuff. It's weird.
That's weird to me because it doesn't seem like it's any easier.
Yeah, but he's got a base to work from, but it's kind of like his
But he manipulates it
base,
too.
yeah.
And that makes it seem like it'd be harder to do because, like, if I was going to draw like a big beefy dude, I wouldn't be like, I'm going to just take a picture of my, like, it seems like it adds an unnecessary step because he can draw very well anyway, and it doesn't seem like it's even necessary. So I almost feel like he's doing it because he does
just has a weird niche. Kinda.
yeah, because he makes videos of him like doing it, and I always wonder, like, is he doing this for the sake of a video? Because people always see the photo and like, wow, I can't believe he got this from that, and it seems like an unnecessary step to me. I don't know.
I don't know about unnecessary. It's just, to me, it's odd.
Yeah, it is weird. Watch me become a pretty girl.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Like, oh, okay.
Ross draws. He's really good. Check him out. I'm not taking anything away from the guy.
Yeah, but it is weird.
It's when you guys see these videos, go check them out. Not right now. When you guys check it out, like it's just kind of some weird stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of people who work digitally. Let's see, Simon. Any comic characters you would like to take on, or would you rather do your own thing?
Right now, this is exactly where I want to be. This is the dream for me, to be able to create for you guys original content. So, but having said that, I think we talked about there's runs that I would like to have before, I guess bucket list or whatever they call it. I'd like to do the Hulk. I'd like to have a run on the Hulk, not just one issue. I'd like to do a run on the Avengers. I'd like to do a run on the Justice League, but with all like the cool characters, not like, the B and C and whatever characters.
I thought you were saying the Bee as a character. I was like, there's a character called the Bee now.
There is, like, she's that character in the Teen Titans.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's just Bee, right?
Yeah,
Bee.
I think she's just, and then there's probably a Killer Bee too, I bet.
Oh yeah, I think there is. Now that you mention it.
And there was, I don't have a run on Wonder Woman, but to be honest, a lot of things would have to line up. There'd have to be a really good writer that I liked and a cool storyline, because it's not like I would like to draw Wonder Woman. It would just depend on a lot of things. I and Taylor and I talk about like I think Wonder Woman's the coolest when she's kind of hooked to like the Greek gods and that epic kind of stuff like that. And I'd like to see her like fight. God, what are some of the like the monsters and stuff from that mythology?
Like a minotaur and stuff.
Minotaur, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, and stuff like that. Kind of like Sinbad, I guess.
Ooh, yeah. That'd be cool.
Kind of adventures, fighting skeleton warriors and just crazy stuff like that. Kind of like that Harryhausen stuff. I think it would be really cool. And I like her in the setting of like all those Greek columns and all that kind of that looking backdrop. I think she looks cool in
It's a cool aesthetic.
with all the statues and all that stuff. And I also think that's what makes her pretty original as well. Is those aspects to the character. So yeah, I guess Wonder Woman in the right conditions. I know there were some other ones. I still don't really have a great run on Batman. It'd be cool to do that, but also right conditions. I'm very opinionated about Batman.
There's a lot of, like, when it comes to Batman, his stories, because there's so many, really vary from, like, being really good to being kind of really bad. Like, he's had some, like, very D-list seeming stories for the character that he is.
Yeah.
But he's also had super classic stories. He's an interesting character that way.
And there's been some artists on Batman that I didn't like. Batman to me is like what X-Men were in the day.
You earn Batman.
Yeah, you earn Batman. And there's a lot of artists, and I'm not taking a shot at anybody in particular, but that I always thought were like, how did you get this Batman job? It's always been a job that I've tried to get.
And you've had it a couple times.
Yeah, I have runs, but like maybe like on Detective, what did we do? Like 3 or 4 issues or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Batman Arkham Knight, but that's not really Batman.
Yeah.
And just kind of stuff like that.
He's a interesting character as far as that goes. Everyone should go to the guy's channel and say, whose channel? Let me zoom up here. I guess I'm missing something. Very few artists can pull off painted panel style, and even then the art can feel a bit stiff and overly posed.
Yeah, that's exactly why I have a problem with it.
Everyone should go to the guy's channel and say RT Bear sent us to tell you that you're odd. JK. Who?
Did I say that they were odd?
Who was odd?
I don't remember doing that.
Which Avengers team characters would you choose? Top 5.
Oh, Avengers? Oh my gosh, like the core group. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. I just like the dynamics of having the Hulk in there. So that's 4. I like Giant Man or Ant-Man and Wasp, like the original team. But that would be 6. But Ant-Man and Wasp seem like you'd have to have both.
Yeah.
You can't just do like Ant-Man, or you could just do Giant Man, but if I had Giant Man, I don't know if I would want the Hulk anymore. I actually do like what's her name? Scarlet Witch in the Avengers. So maybe Scarlet Witch.
She's kind of cool.
Who would be yours?
I don't know. As far as like the original lineup's really cool, but I like the weirder characters. What was the team that had like it was? We talked about them before, but they kind of have a more interesting lineup where it's like Doctor Strange.
All the Defenders.
Yeah, the Defenders have I think a cooler lineup in a lot of ways.
A pretty powerful lineup. You have the Hulk, Doctor Strange, and the Silver Surfer. Whoa!
Pretty powerful.
Right now, just based on that, and then isn't there like Valkyries in the team as
That's
well?
right.
Like, you have a female Thor in there. Man, that's a powerful team.
It's a cool team. But I don't know, like as far as Avengers goes.
Maybe the Panther. Put the Panther in for my.
Your Avengers team sounds like Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon.
Yeah, just a standard lineup, pretty much.
The Wonder Woman runs sound badass. Based on that Wonder Woman description, I would love to see Art take a crack at bringing Hercules back, respectively, at Marvel. Yes, I love Hercules.
He's the winner of Song and Story. Hercules, winner of Ancient Glory.
Where's the song and story? Didn't you just post that?
Yeah, like it was old cartoon show.
Oops. Okay, let me see. Let me make sure I got this right. A certain person will be a certain person will be the artist forever known for drawing the Batwing. Yeah, I don't know who that artist is though.
For the Bat, what?
Wang. Remember that whole controversy?
Oh, the new, yeah. What is that? Yeah, Batwing. I know. I thought you said wing.
Yeah, what's wrong with Batwing?
What happened to Batwing?
I grew up with that old cartoon, says James.
Oh, the Hercules one? Oh, me too. Herc, it's the chameleon. It's the chameleon. What was his name? Newt or whatever. It was the little goat kid.
Aw.
With the flute. Pan. Like, I don't know. I think they call him Newt, though, actually, in the cartoon.
Newt. They all call me Newt.
Mm. But he had like this, like, Herc, it's the chameleon. Weird voice. Yes, it's the chameleon. I see him, Newt. He had a ring, like a power ring.
Hercules did?
I think so. It was a power ring, and he put it on, and then he turned it into Hercules or something.
So he was like a straight up superhero. I think they're online. I think somebody uploaded them. We should watch and do a commentary.
Hercules, a winner of song and story. I think that was early Japanese animation.
It looked like it. It had a similar feel.
Yeah, it was the same company, I think, that did like Kimba and Speed Racer and gosh, what else? There was something else.
I almost said Astro Boy, but I don't know if that's the case.
It might have been. They actually, like, this is how old I am, is I think like Felix the Cat was kind of done by that same company.
I love the Felix the Cat animated movie. It's a guilty pleasure. It's very weird.
There's a Felix the Cat animated movie?
Yeah, it's very strange.
When did that come out?
The 90s of all times, when Felix the Cat was really popular. It's weird. It's kind of become a cult hit among like stonery people. And I just remember, like, my mom rented it because she was just like, we used to rent movies all the time when I was little. And she rented it, and then I was talking about it, and she was like, what is this weird movie? Like, she probably thought I was making it up, as children do. And then she, like, I remember we watched it together, and she's like, this is bizarre. Like, Felix goes to, you guys should actually watch it. And by you guys, I mean Art, you should watch it. Felix goes to another world in that movie and saves a princess. It's very strange.
I used to just like he would just laugh. He'd grab his belly.
Yes, he did. They wanted him to be Mickey so bad. He even had kind of had like a fake Mickey voice in that. And the weirdest thing is, like, since the movie was animated in Japan, when it comes to like the princess character, she looks more realistic, and it doesn't happen with her. But like Felix's mouth is always kind of moving. Like, it was this really weird animation. So like he's always making a sound. Like, they didn't really know how to voice act it. So there's just scenes where he's just standing there with his mouth open. The voice actor's just like, oh, like the whole, like he felt like he had to keep making noises, and it makes the movie really weird for that reason.
Is it because of the dub?
I think, yeah, it's like, remember how the old Popeye cartoons were like that? Where the characters didn't really, like, their mouth didn't have, like, mouth flaps. So the voice actors would just be like, hey, what's going on over here? Blah, blah. But, like, the character would just be like, its mouth would be shut and it'd be moving. Like, that's what it looks like. So it's really weird. Exactly.
What was the Popeye that he was like, like didn't he have like some kind of weird like what would you call that, like Tourette's or something?
I think he did. Did they do that in the Bad Popeye movie?
I think Robin Williams did do that stuff.
Comic Book Bob says Mike is broadcasting again right now for his mega launch. ... He needs to draw while doing it. It makes it more interesting.
Well, I'm not gonna comment.
Ray says I always kind of assumed Felix was inspired by the old Bosco cartoons. I think all of them were. Ignition says, Art, did you see my Stan Lee piece? I got picked up by the Associated Press.
I think I did. That was nice.
I haven't seen it, so you can. Well, I'll check it out later. James, let's see. You have to blame the comic news sites. That's all they talked about. I don't know.
Blame them for what?
Oh, you guys are talking about that Batman thing again. Lee Bermejo is the artist responsible for the Bat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen his work.
I've seen his work. Not impressed.
I bought that Joker book with Brian Azzarello.
Skid him her. Skid him her. If we had that like sound machine thing,
Just play that a million times. Simon says, I would like to see Art do an X-Force run, similar to X-Force back in the 90s.
could be fun.
I think I haven't read X-Force in a long time. I read well, I guess it's not the newer run anymore. I read the really strange run with Laura Kinney and Domino hanging out. That was kind of cool and also kind of horrible in other ways. Did you ever read that art? I forget who did the artwork on that.
No.
It had really weird digital color, and that's like all that most people remember from it. Where it was like digital color that was kind of trying to imitate a Simon Bisley look. And it was really grimy because it was like really grimy looking because of that. Everything was super highly textured looking. You have to blame it on the rain. I always, let's see, I have to blame comic news sites. Brian Azzarello wrote it. Yeah, I didn't read it. Did you ever read that infamous Batman comic art?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. Try to finish this frame so I can move on. It's so close.
We're getting to the focus part of the broadcast.
Yeah.
When it gets late in the day, we start cracking down on the drawing.
I know.
We gotta get this done.
Sorry, you guys. You guys have had some good questions tonight, though.
Yeah, thank you. You know what? You guys keep us company, and it makes this thing move a lot faster. It's more entertaining.
Yeah.
So Donkey Shane.
Yes, Donkey Shane.
Donkey Shane. Darling. Donkey Shane.
Let me see. X-Force was one of my favorites. The new graphic novel where Phantom X killed Apocalypse the Child was disappointing.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
I don't
around
remember
the
that.
time I stopped reading. Ray says, Art needs a soundboard with all of Popeye's muttering, Ace's ack, and other craziness.
Oh my god.
Imagine the havoc he could create in Mike's scream.
Ack. Skip her. Put it on.
Okay, so Art is banned. I don't think I need to say why.
You know, kick Art. At least give them a reason now to kick me. I would accept the kick then.
You gotta earn it.
Yeah,
know?
most of the time it's like unearned, but it would be earned.
I would love to do, I don't know, like, we do most of this stuff live now, so it would have to be like an edited video, and that's the only thing that would, like, it would take time. But I would love to do, like, a commentary of, like, us and, like, maybe Scott talking about the Kiss Meets the Phantom.
Oh my
Or,
god.
like stuff.
While watching it?
Yes, like, that's what I mean, like, while watching, just have, like, a commentary track that they could put on. Because there's a...
Oh, sync it to the track, yeah.
Well, we could, because the thing is, there's a reviewer that I like, and he puts he does commentary for movies, but there's no visual, like it just has like a screen share, and then you sync it up, so you play the commentary while you're watching the movie, and you can listen to it. It's like you're hearing their commentary while the movie's going, and it's pretty hilarious.
We could drink, eat popcorn.
So we could
Watch the
do
movie?
it.
Ooh.
If you guys want us to do something like that, it seems very self-indulgent right now. But if you guys want us to do it, then like we can justify it.
Well, especially if we could still like have chats, because then they could comment too.
That's the You know what? I wonder if we could do it. Because if we did it live and you guys would just have to... That's the thing, though. Everybody would have to be, like, on at the same time. Because you couldn't show a visual of the
Oh, that's right. You
movie.
said we would have to pre-record it?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
why
what
it'd have to be
okay.
pre-recorded. Unless we released it... Unless we released it, like, for sale.
I don't know if anybody
That
want
would
to
be-
pay for
I
that.
don't think anybody would pay for it, but it would be amazing.
That'd be so funny if it actually turned out to be like very lucrative.
That's what we end up doing. We just become riff tracks.
Stop, drawing comics and then just.
You
start.
guys, this was our real calling all along.
Thanks for helping me discover that. All right.
Yeah, we
I'm
should
trying-
probably call it soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I can do, because I can go down and start scanning this stuff. I'm going to leave you guys with this.
Oh, okay, so should we call it?
It's 5. Almost 5
You guys are
Cal
good.
time.
There's a site called Rab that allows you to stream stuff like that. Yeah, we're gonna keep it on YouTube. All right.
Rabby. Okay, let me find my Vizio. Where is it? Here it is. So this will be for a future, maybe tomorrow. Well, I'll probably bring it together tonight, actually.
You guys have stuck with us and watched it come alive. Thanks for keeping us company during this stream.
Yes.
I'm so close.
The coffee is helping.
All right. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Don't forget, Black and White is still on in demand right now. So if you haven't picked up a book, we still have a lot of the tiers up there. We got our 46K stretch goal up for the button set. And please like this video, help boost our views because we're real close to monetization. And if you want to drop us a tip for hanging out, we have a donate button in the description, or you can buy a book. But thanks for joining us, you guys, and I will see you next time.